15 car, Mr. Callanan.
I have to use the bathroom.
And Victory Lane is right here. And another really cool thing is each garage stall has a window, so the fans actually can see the team, see what they're doing.
When you think of a town that is perfect for trackside, Sin City is it. Ah, the scenery. And we are not just talking about on the strip. NASCAR is back for its annual March swing in the desert. And the best way to start your day right here with us on Trackside. Good morning and welcome to Trackside. Chris Devoto alongside Rutledge Wood, Kyle Petty, Caitlin Vincey. We all have our coffee because, yes,
that's right.
It's morning here in Las Vegas, but because Mother Nature sort of threw a wrench in the plans yesterday, all the track activity today, Speed has every single minute of it for you.
Thank you, Mother Nature.
And that means we had to get an early start today to make room for all those
Very
practices.
early.
Yes.
We're fine with that.
I'm not fine with that.
It was a little early.
It was a lot early.
The wake-up
It
call.
was a lot early.
It was interesting. I get nervous with the time zones because I get concerned, did I set it
Right.
for this time zone? Or
We lose the hour
I
tonight.
know,
Don't
I
forget
know.
that, guys.
Spring forward.
I'm on Kyle time, always.
That's
always
true.
on the Kyle
What
Petty
is
time.
Kyle time? What time is it?
It's
Kyle
whenever
time.
I get there. Whenever I get there.
Probably 5 o'clock, right?
Yes.
Hey, you know, coffee, everyone has their coffee. Coffee is not the only thing giving us a kickstart today. Give me a kick. You told me you would kick.
Kick.
Oh, yeah. Give him a
High kick.
Kickstart today.
You're 50.
I am 50.
A kick
50.
and a stretch.
Kurt Busch, a Las Vegas native, will be here to join us coming up. He knows a lot about Vegas.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
I'd even refer to him as a Vegas insider. If we needed some
What do you
yeah.
call someone from
Vegas
Vegas?
guru.
Besides broke. What do you call someone?
I don't know. That's a good
Just
question.
asking.
I have a question for you guys. When you think of Vegas, what do you think of?
Alcohol?
Oh, good.
That's fair.
I can't say.
Okay, of
I
course
can't
you
say.
can't.
Gambling.
Gambling, casinos, of
Yes.
course. Every hotel seems to have its own casino, and every driver has his or her favorite casino game. Take a look.
Yes, blackjack. Love blackjack.
Blackjack is my favorite casino game.
I like blackjack.
Blackjack would probably be my favorite.
Blackjack.
Blackjack simply because I can choose my own fate. I can sit there for hours.
I'll play blackjack for about 30 minutes and I'm done. The thrill is not there.
A lot of times it doesn't work out, but when it does, it's a lot of fun.
I'm kind of cheap, so I can sit there with $100, play all night.
I'll play blackjack, I'll play craps, I'll play roulette.
I don't really gamble because I don't really have any money left.
I still like craps.
My favorite and only casino game is craps.
Greg Biffle is kind of my craps mentor.
Love the action. I love the dice.
There's nothing better than a hot craps table.
That roll the dice you can't control.
Tables are fun. It's exciting. It's fast paced.
You can win a lot in a hurry or you can lose a lot in a hurry.
Next time you want to just donate money, we put your name on the side of a race car or something. You don't have to just give it to a casino.
Yeah, like he's never gambled.
I
Yeah.
mean, I've been almost gambling with Clint, but I said, you know, this is a bad idea. Craps, for the record, is a lot harder than people think.
Did Jimmy Johnson say hot craps?
I think he did.
I think he did too.
I had those once.
I know
but
you
that's
don't
different.
talk to Greg Biffle when he's playing craps.
No.
He takes it very
Focused,
seriously.
focused.
I tried to gamble with, like, he said, no,
It's
you should come
impossible,
with me.
yeah.
And then he doesn't know you. The
Checks
minute
out,
you hit the
checks
table,
out.
see ya.
You know, all of us, I guess, older individuals on Trackside have been living vicariously through young Caitlin Vincey this week. Please tell me you did something exciting last night here in Vegas.
I hate to disappoint you, but I went to bed early. I was up at 5 o'clock, so
Yeah.
boring.
Thanks for helping us.
It would not be a morning show without a weather and traffic update, so let's take a look at the traffic situation outside of Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Not too much
Wow.
traffic,
They
so
are
come on out and
flying.
join us. We've got a lot of on-track action
Don't
here
race
today.
into the track, people, okay?
That's
Just
true.
follow the speed limits here.
Let's take a look at the weather. The rain has moved out. Today will be
Yay.
overcast. 63 degrees is the high. Tomorrow for race day, 69 degrees. Should be pretty nice. All right, here on Trackside, we love for the fans to join the conversation with us here in the Speed Social Garage. Coming up later in the show, we do have Kurt Busch joining us. If you would like to send a question for him, make sure you tweet those to us at NASCAR on Speed using the hashtag Trackside, and Kurt will be answering a couple of those questions later on in the show. And hashtag time. Earlier in the week, we asked you fans, if you could bring any driver to a Vegas show, who would it be and why? So we've been getting a lot of pretty creative answers for that, and I do have an example to share with you all. At to Weedy13 said, I would bring Michael Waltrip to Blue Man Group, slap a Napa badge on those guys, and it's probably a lot like working at Michael Waltrip Racing.
It would be. That would be accurate. That would be.
Especially in the first days. That's what it was like.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of guys flinging stuff everywhere.
Yeah. A lot of things going on, but nothing happening. Okay, sorry.
And everyone in the front row left covered in paint.
Thank you, Caitlin. Those are going to be cool to check out throughout the rest of the show, see what our fans have to say. Speaking of the rest of the show, we still have a lot coming up. They were one of the biggest hits on Trackside last year. Our spotter trio returns this season for more scavenger hunts. What are they up to now? Plus, Las Vegas has a unique garage setup. Caitlin checked it out with some fans. And we will give you a behind-the-scenes look at pit stop practice from the vantage point of the 78 team. But up next, it's the driver of that 78 car. Kurt Busch is back home in Vegas, and he's back home on the speed stage. We chat with Kurt next.
Trackside is brought to you by Chevrolet and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers.
On the way to the top, everyone's got advice.
Nothing quite like Las Vegas. I mean, where else can you see Elvis on nearly every street corner? You know, when Kurt Busch was growing up, the racetrack, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, didn't exist. The graduate of Durango High School right here in Vegas now turns laps in what used to figuratively be his backyard.
And here comes Kurt Busch.
He has passed a lot of race cars since the drop of the green.
Pretty impressed with Kurt Busch.
I like what I'm seeing out of this cat.
Busch is on the move. He's picked up 8 spots.
Driver of the number 78.
Thanks for coming, man.
It's good to see you.
Back home. Hello, how are you? Oh, I get the hug.
I got a hug, don't you guys?
Here. Okay, you guys.
I think we're going to have to check the hug-o-meter, but that to me, initial thoughts seem totally comfortable. I had to create this just because.
Watch it. Chris, we got the handshake. Then we go to the hug.
Yeah, and it's not too far away either.
He tried to hand you an awkward gift, and you said, "No way. Let's bring it in for the real thing."
Yeah.
We don't shake in this family.
I know. Well, this is kind of a home for you. Coming here at Trackside, coming back to Las Vegas. Welcome back home to both.
Well, thank you. Good morning to you. We could have done this earlier, right?
We tried.
Or is this taping for later? But anyway, no, Vegas, fun, family, friends. Last night I went to a sushi dinner that I hadn't been to this place before, but you know, trying to stick with being a Friday Lent thing and having fish and all that. So it's been great just catching up with everybody, too.
Kyle won't eat fish in landlocked states.
Yeah,
so.
if it doesn't have an ocean, I don't eat fish. But Vegas is different because they fly this stuff in fresh here every day.
And they don't fly it in fresh anywhere else.
No, not in Bristol, Tennessee, they don't. Are you kidding me?
I'd be scared of Bristol, Tennessee.
That's what I'm saying.
You got a point.
You know, if we look at the way your year started, it's not started the way Daytona definitely didn't start, but last year didn't start the way you wanted. You know, but you are incredibly optimistic always. Get you to Monday, you are always looking to the following Sunday. Where do you think you guys are this year so far? You had an opportunity to work with this team last year. Are you in that groove yet?
Yeah, each week is a new opportunity to have something big happen, and you hope that the stars align and boom, you post those good finishes. Last week, I think we ran really well, top 10 all day, and then the last pit stop, car just sideways loose. I couldn't hang on to it, and we slid all the way to the back. I think we ended up 27th. That's not good. Daytona was just a mess. That's just how it turns out sometimes for you. And then you just go on with the regular season. So we're going to turn things around here at Vegas. This track's been good to me over the years, and I'm just hoping that, you know, once we do get into that groove, that each week there's just small things that we keep adding to the layers of the cake, and that we can be a legitimate top 10 team every week.
You know, you and your crew chief, Todd Barrier, obviously with the new Gen 6 cars, people really are learning, you know, every week. And the fans got that chance to see, you know, Daytona, as you know, is really unlike anything else. So when we get here, you know, each day you get in that car, is it sort of trying to relearn it? Are you having to think in terms of, okay, I know this is new setups, we got to try new stuff with this new Chevy SS, or kind of what's the approach there when you get in right now?
Well, right now we're just trying to parallel Richard Childress Racing, and things that we learn, then we give to them, vice versa. You know, with the rear axles, there's a lot of durability questions with them.
Sure.
We found some cool suppliers out there in Denver, Colorado that aren't in the normal niche in the Carolinas as far as parts and pieces. We gave those to Childers.
That's cool.
They've researched them out. So what we need to do, though, is to anytime we can get better, RCR can get better. And we're a genuine customer. And so we can prove to the platform of the garage area, you can buy parts from Childers, you can get the motors, and you can perform well.
Sure.
So that's what Barney Visser wants to do with this 7018.
You bring up a great point, the fact that, you know, the team is located, the shop's located in Denver, Colorado. You've turned that into an advantage, like you're saying, finding things out there. But your pit crew, and we have a feature coming up on your pit crew that you're a part of later in the show, they're doing all their pit stop practice in North Carolina.
And that's where we can't take shop guys and use them in part of the pit crew. So we have to have a bona fide group of guys that are full tilt, jump over the wall, train every day. Tiny is the master of ceremonies.
Nothing tiny about Tiny
Nope.
either.
You never met a Tiny that's small. And those guys work really hard at getting into routines as well as doing fun things that keep the pit stops entertaining, exciting, and different for them. And so they do a good job with that.
And
you know,
and
this day and age, you got to have a motor, you got to have a pit crew, you have guys that build the car, and then you got to have the guy that sits behind the wheel and drives it. There's 4 main components. Those pit crew guys are a main component.
And certainly having sponsorship is a huge help these days. You got a new sponsor this week, your friends at CERTA on there. I would refer to it almost as a very comfortable sponsorship.
Very comfortable.
Unlike our hotel room.
And it helps you get a good night's sleep.
Yes, it does.
Refreshed and happy. No, it's great to have brands, business to business wise, jump on. And with Denver Mattress, you go to the locations, you can get CERTA, you can get the Simmons mattress, you can get the Beauty Rest. So it's good that we have those business-to-business people and partners understanding the NASCAR benefits of advertising through this sport.
When you say refreshed and happy, were you talking about CERTA or the Gen 6?
Yeah, the mattress.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
You mentioned different components. By the way, our main component here at Trackside, especially this early, donuts. So help yourself as we go to break.
Yes.
We have a lot more coming up
coffee.
with Kurt Busch. He's ready to go.
like
Coming up here on Trackside, you know, when I was in 5th grade, fluorescent clothes were the hottest style. Who said fashion doesn't come back around? I never wore that, by the way, in 5th grade. Caitlin makes neon look so much better than I could coming up. Plus, Mike, Chris, and Joey. Is it the latest boy band? No, it's our spotter trio. They are back and up to no good. But first, what was the highlight of the offseason for Kurt Busch? Hard to choose when you see what he did with his limited spare time. Stick around.
This engine's got some juice. How far do you want to take it?
Up to you. Chevy Cruiser's 6-speed transmission allows for...
Tomorrow on race day, Cousin Carl tells you how he shook the rust off at Phoenix, and we get to the bottom of Toyota's engine problems. Plus, a candid talk with the outlaw himself, Kurt Busch. NASCAR race day, fueled by Sunoco, live from Vegas tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern, only on Speed. Hey, that's not the only place you can find Kurt Busch. He's right here on Trackside.
Yeah.
Welcome back to our Trackside stage. It's early morning here in Las Vegas. Las Vegas, the only city where the action is hotter at 4 a.m. than it is at 8 p.m. That's true, right?
I love all the guys that are down there playing on the craps table at 7 a.m. because you know they've never gone to bed that night.
Right, I know. You see them.
You can do a drive-by and go, oh, yeah. They've been drinking. They've been up all night.
Before you see it.
Let's talk about your off-season. You took some cool trips. One of my favorite places, Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
It was
How was that?
cold. Oh, my gosh. And we did a snowmobile trip to Hot Springs. And so it was really neat getting undressed, and it's 10 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Then you get in the water. It's like, oh, this is great. And then you're like, damn. Now I got to get from the water back to my clothes and then snowmobile out of here.
God, that's pretty.
So, yeah, we had a great time.
Are you a big skier yourself?
Yeah, just enough to go skiing. I try to stay off the black diamonds. And everybody wears helmets these days. I'm like, I didn't grow up with helmets. So you got to get into the fashion with it. And Houston, he has taken it to like a duck does water. So he loves it. He's been snowboarding at Vail. He's been snowboarding at Jackson Hole. Then we took him to X Games. Here it is. I was a kid. I stayed at the small little resort here in Vegas until I was about 18.
Yeah.
He's been everywhere already.
You talk about Houston. You guys have some downtime at Daytona, and you took a trip to Disney. How was that?
It was cool. Just a slide over. We had, Monday and Tuesday off. And so we had him, with us. We went over there to enjoy with all the Disney activities, went to the cars area with the hotel portion, and then up and down all the activities. I mean, he's just full throttle now, getting taller so he can ride on all the rides.
Oh, cool, man.
And then here he is. He takes the steering wheel from me there.
Oh, the Raceway. That's a fun one.
That's a cool picture.
Yeah.
Oh, Mater. Hey.
Oh.
Mater's got me on the hook, you know, just like I was at Daytona.
Good foreshadowing there. Now, you were also busy. You guys had out to Barrett Jackson, your girlfriend Patricia, obviously with the Armed Forces Foundation, and you guys showed up with this gorgeous 69 Ford Bronco, and it just took off.
Those guys from Chimera Customs built this bitchin' Bronco, and you know the way that it looked, it just demanded attention. And everybody walking by was trying to figure out what it was for, what it was about, and then boom, here it is. We bring out our troops. We're the big campaign this year is Help Save Our Troops. It's around PTSD and helping our veterans, because one in every 65 minutes, a veteran is taking his life right now.
Wow.
And so this is an epidemic that we're trying to make a dent in. And the Armed Forces Foundation does a great job creating awareness, and now we're getting into the VA hospitals and trying to get with these guys, because now we're having the group coming back from the Middle East, teaming up with the guys from Vietnam era.
Yeah.
And we're trying to put those guys together to talk about stories and have them share their personal history of things to help each other.
And kudos to you, man. It has been so natural, and to see that side of your heart grow in the way it has, and the way that you've just jumped in, and I think it's really cool for race fans to see that genuine side and the love that you've shared for all these troops. You know?
Well, these guys have been through, I mean, let's just say hell. I mean, they've been there and back, and the way that now their lives have changed. Some have 2 limbs missing. Some have been shot at every day that they were over there in the Middle East. Some come back and they can have their skills, but yet they don't have the mental side of it grasped around what everyday life is. Can you imagine being in training? Everything is military for years and years and years. And then you come back and you're trying to start a family. It's not time to start a family until you blend back into the regular world.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, such an important cause. Anything we can do to help, very important. Caitlin's over in the social garage, I think, with a question for Kurt.
All right.
That's right. Kurt, we saw a really cool tweet from your girlfriend Patricia last week in Phoenix. A cool moment, the twit pic. We can take a look at it here. She posted this photo of you in Houston pre-race. Let's see what it looks like. This is all that matters at the end of the day.
Oh,
yeah,
it's a cool moment. A lot of people don't see that side of you. Kurt, what do moments like that mean to you?
Well, with Houston, he's starting to get old enough and understand how dangerous all this is and how big of a moment we can share together on a Sunday morning right before the race. And he knows that sometimes I can come back scraped up and bruised up, and he's like the first one there offering, you know, whether it's a coffee or a water to try to make you feel better, or even a Band-Aid, you know?
Yeah. Do we have the picture? The last time you were in a car, you and I have a picture just like that.
Do we really?
Unfortunately, I'm bigger than Houston is, but I don't.
Well, see, I was going to say that's why Kurt was so comfortable hugging me, because you're used to hugging Houston all the time. So
you're a hugger now.
You're a hugger.
He's a good kid, and he loves this whole racing thing now. So with the go-kart he got for Christmas, he wears this little monster suit. He's full throttle now with it.
Cool.
So that's the scary part now.
Well, I don't know if we're quite full throttle yet on Trackside. It's morning. We're getting there. We're slowly getting there. Still to come, think what you have, what it takes to be a spotter in NASCAR. Even the best are going back to school. Oh, this ought to be good. Plus, his nickname may be tiny, but Mike Houston is anything but a shrinking violet. See how he leads his troops in a NASCAR battle each and every week. But up next, the driver who steers the car into Tiny Houston's pit box each week, Kurt Busch, answers your questions and possibly eats a donut when Trackside returns.
All right, now it's like washing dishes. I got to pay the bills here. Monday on an all-new Are You Faster Than a Redneck? As his drivers are picked off one by one, host John Reap unleashes his secret weapon. I knew I was going to mess that up. Strap in for a Southern Fried Showdown on an all-new Are You Faster Than a Redneck? Monday night at 9 Eastern, only on Speed.
Yeah, Kurt.
Good job.
Welcome back to Trackside here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I'm hanging out in the Speed Social Garage with our Trackside guest, Mr. Kurt Busch, who's taking over my job, I see.
They gave me this, and I'm like, oh boy, I know I'm going to hack this up. So
No, you
here,
did good.
you can take it
You
back.
did good. All right, well, let's take a look at some fan Twitter questions. Speaking of muscle cars and are you faster than a redneck? The first Twitter question we got was from Byron. He wants to know, what's your favorite muscle car?
You know, I grew up in a Chevy family, but yet then I've driven for Ford and I've driven for Dodge. My favorite, though, is just a classic old Mustang.
There you go.
That fastbacks, or like I've got an 01 Mustang. It's not old enough to be classic yet. But that's just one of the coolest cars ever built.
I guessed a 67 Camaro.
Yeah, wrong.
I got a 69 Camaro.
See, I thought you did.
Oh, that was a good job, bro.
Close.
All right, next question. We know you're a big baseball fan, so let's take a look at this question that was tweeted to us from ABC Racing. Wants to know, how do you think the Cubs are going to do this year?
Oh, my. Yeah, another rebuilding year, unfortunately. So, you know the movie Back to the Future 2, when they do like this futuristic promo, and it's the Cubs against the Marlins in the 2015 World Series. They didn't know the Marlins were going to be in the National League, but 2015, I'm telling you, big things are going to happen.
Wow. 2015. I like it.
You heard it here on Race Day.
I like it.
Trackside. You heard it here on Trackside.
I'm going to Vegas. Put money on it.
Like you're
The
still
last
to Vegas.
Twitter question we got has to do with your brother, actually. Let's take a look and see.
Oh, look at you.
Oh.
That's a good picture, man.
All right, Imelda wants to know, as kids, who got in trouble more, you or Kyle?
Man, I was in trouble every day, so I don't know how he could be in trouble more often than me. But usually when he screwed up, it was big. I just screwed up a little bit every day.
All right, earlier in the week, we asked the fans if they could take any driver to a Vegas show. Who would it be and why? So we got some pretty creative tweets. Here's some examples for our #time game. The first one came to us from Brat Mom. They would take Kevin Harvick to see David Copperfield and turn him into a lame duck.
He's already a lame duck.
Already a lame duck.
Come on.
I see him
The
more as a
next one
swan.
is from Johnny Fuzzbox. He would be taking Tony Stewart to Cirque du Soleil, the Bellagio. There would be smoke on the water.
Dun, dun, dun. I see what he did there. I like it. That's a good one.
That was creative. And the last one is for you, Kurt, from Chickadiva 2. She would take you and your brother, Kyle Busch, to Tournament of Kings so they could have a brotherly duel.
That is a good show. I love it. You eat with your fingers and you're slamming stuff on the countertop, just trying to root for the bad guy or the good guy. So who would be the bad guy or the good guy?
Thou hast to thirst for the tasty brew.
All right, I'm going to send you over for the final lap for the rest of the game.
Get over here. Come back. Hey, one of your fans tipped me off that you worked, they believe, at Smith's Grocery back in the day.
Yes.
What did you do?
I was trying to get into the pharmacy area, but you have to be a bagger to understand all the ins and the outs of the grocery store first.
I was a bagger, too.
I've been trying to get into the pharmacy my whole life. Okay. Sorry, man. Look, the Outlaw. How did we go from starch white Penske shirts to the Outlaw?
I don't know. I think I've just been doing things my own way. And you know, the lady that came and did the documentary or followed us around, we were doing it to help promote troop awareness with the PTSD campaign at Talladega. Last year when we did the Me car, when I drove Cougar on the hood.
Yep,
we did
that was
all
awesome.
So we're doing the promo thing. And she goes, well, man, I really thought you were an a-hole, you know, with everything that I read and everything that I see. And she's just an independent producer out of New York City. She's like, well, why don't we just follow you around for a little bit? I'm like, no, I don't want all this, you know, BS that goes along with it. And she's like, no. I'll be in, I'll be out. You won't notice me, and then we'll put something together. I'm like, whatever. And it's just like, we have lightning in a bottle here. Just everything that's going on behind the scenes and who people think that I am, and I'm like, all right, knock yourself out. So
that's cool.
She just nicknamed me the Outlaw.
That's good, man.
I want to know, how's your mom doing? She had that spill in Phoenix.
Oh, God.
How's she doing? Her
She is just accident prone. She's worse than I am. I mean, I've wrecked some cars this year, but she got a hairline fracture in her arm when the golf cart rolled over in the tunnel at Phoenix. So she got a little scraped up, but she's in good spirits about it. Poor thing.
Best burger in Vegas.
In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, good. It was a trick question. Nailed it. I said, look,
you got it
trick
already.
question, In-N-Out.
That's because you missed all the other
What's so trick about it?
I love it. It's the best one. That's
cool.
it.
As a kid, it was like a rite of passage when you came back from Southern California with the In-N-Out Burger t-shirt.
Sure.
So you're sporting it, you know, like 10 sizes too big in middle school.
Well, thank you very much for coming out here and joining us. Appreciate it. Best of luck to you in practices today and, of course, in the race here in your hometown, Las Vegas.
Hopefully it's a good
this
one.
weekend. We hope so, too.
Good luck, guys.
Kurt Busch trying to cash in and hit the jackpot at his home track. Coming up, a lot more still to come here on Trackside, like the guys who pit the 78, a special feature on them next.
At Camping World, we feature the best RV products at the best prices.
Picked off one by one. John unleashes his secret weapon.
Let's bring out the...
Monday on the Hub, get a full recap of all the NASCAR action from Sin City. Plus, Larry Mack and Elliott Sadler break it all down for you with their expert analysis. Catch NASCAR Race Hub Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. Welcome back to Trackside from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're still doing a morning edition here today, so we got to give you another weather and traffic update. So let's take a look at the traffic situation outside Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Still light traffic. You guys should have no problem getting to us to see all the on-track action. And here is a weather update as well. High today, 63 degrees Fahrenheit. Tomorrow for race day, 69 degrees Fahrenheit. The rain has moved out. Furniture Row Racing and the 78 team of Kurt Busch are looking to bring their team to a whole new level this season, and that started with the addition of pit crew coach Mike Tiny Houston. And he's a veteran tire carrier from Hendrick Motorsports, and he has a background in college football and pro wrestling.
Pit road's open, pit road's open. 3, 2, 1, go, 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 hard, 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 hard.
All right, morning, guys. Hate the weather's not cooperating with us today. Looks like we'll probably be out in the bay again, but we're used to that. We first met this morning. We go over what I call housekeeping, and then we go into a film review. Big Show, great pulls, hand on the fender, like we talked about. Waiting in on that 5th lug nut, look good. We have overhead cameras here and helmet cams. And a lot of times the guys will say, well, I didn't do this or I didn't do that. And I call it the MOT, the moment of truth. We'll pull out the helmet cam and say, well, guess what? You did do it. This one here had a little bit of the reed was too far back there. You know, you should have been aiming on that one. And then we'll meet for a foam roll. You can pinpoint and target parts on your body that you want to massage and get that lactic acid out. Then we'll do a dynamic or a static stretch and then roll into practice. Let's have some fun, but let's stay focused. 78 on 3, 1, 2, 3, 78. Nice. One up right side wedge, 2 cans. One up right side wedge, 2 cans. Biggest advantage is having all of the guys pit crew only. You run into some situations where you have pit crewmen who are either fabricators or mechanics, and they have to hurry through practice to get back to work on the race car. We don't have that here. This is all we do, you know, and with these gorgeous facilities here, we have every resource available to us. I'm off the last lug nut hit because we're not doing an adjustment on this one. So it'll be the last lug nut hit. Yep. Thanks. All right, on Jackman movement, Jackman movement. Anytime you can have the driver show up, especially grabbing a broom and sweeping up the lug nuts for us, I mean, that's awesome. You know, that shows the guys that, you know, he's here, he's in the trenches with us, and he's going to do whatever it takes, and he wants to help out any way he can.
These guys can do it, and it's just a matter of just getting into the repetition. And now with me showing up, driving the car into the pit box, there's that different energy. They're going to want to push harder, but I want them to do the same thing they've been doing.
You guys heard me say it a million times. You heard me say it a million more. You know, first or 41st, we're going to pit him the same way. All right, let's bring it in. Bring it in. 78 on 3. 1, 2, 3, 78. Good job, guys. Good job, guys.
I had an awesome time meeting Mike Houston out there at the PIT facility in Mooresville. I think he's going to be a great addition to that Furniture Row Racing team, guys.
For sure. It's cool that fans get to see how much actual work those guys put in.
Yeah, the thing is, you know, we talk so much about the engines and the fabricators and the drivers and all that stuff. But I'm telling you, races are won and lost on pit road, and that's important. And the other thing that's important about that is Kurt being there. The thing with Kurt being there is it's like practicing without your quarterback. Kurt comes into the pit box and leaves the pit box different than the practice driver does. So
for sure.
That's a big deal.
And there's a cool look
That's
at
serious.
the Furniture Row shop in Denver on race day tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern. So check that out, too.
Yeah, cool.
You know, NASCAR always, NASCAR's a family, and the 78 team is taking care of its family. Andy Ruger, gas man on that 78 team, recently lost his son, 7-year-old Bryce. The 78 team keeping Bryce Ruger's memory alive with a sticker on the car. Our thoughts and condolences continue to be with the Ruger family. More Trackside next. Tomorrow, after the checkered flag falls in Vegas, turn to speed for the ultimate post-race coverage. Join the Sin City celebration. Well, that sounds fun, with the winner in NASCAR Victory Lane live tomorrow, immediately following a race right here on Speed. Sin City celebration. Look at our spread here on Trackside. It's a good day, Trackside. Speaking of, one of those donuts landed in my hot chocolate somehow. I walk away for 1 second. The next
I don't know how that happened.
In my hot chocolate. Great crowd on hand. Early morning, a little chilly. You're going to drink that whole thing?
No,
My
I just
goodness.
need it. Fill up.
All right, well, Rutledge is doing that one.
It's dripping.
That's gross. Now, how are the rest of us going to drink that?
Oh, here you go. Here you go, pal.
Over the donut. Thanks.
Oh.
Look at that
All right.
elaborate pour.
Being a NASCAR spotter is like part of being a fraternity. This week, several of the spotters actually went straight from Phoenix to Vegas, and they had membership meetings out here, I understand. Wonder what happened at those. Now, if you're a regular viewer of Trackside, you know our spotter trio. Mike Kalanoff, who spots for Ricky Stenhouse, Chris Lambert, spots for Denny Hamlin, and Joey Meyer, who spots for the champ, Brad Kozlowski. Well, everywhere they go, they're on their scanners.
Spotter hibachi.
They never leave their job at home. These are some of the things that they, oh my goodness.
So graphic with
block
Kalanoff.
that.
Oh
Block
my
that.
goodness. Some of the things they have shown us over the last season.
Some of those, we don't want to relive those moments.
Yeah.
Massage.
Yeah, the massage thing. Stop.
It works in Vegas. Skin to win.
No, that does not work anywhere.
Oh.
That does not work anywhere.
Did she say skin to win?
Yeah, skin to win works in
Listen,
Vegas.
you two say a lot worse than that. I just want you to know.
No, we don't.
It's a new season, and recently, despite being 3 of the most successful spotters in the business, those 3 went back to school.
Welcome to Spotting 101, gentlemen. Name is Gordon Bennett, and I've seen it all, and I'm the guy telling you how we're going to do this. There are supposed to be 3 of you here. Let's call the roll. Meyer.
Here.
Mr. Lambert.
Here.
Kalanoff.
Mike Kalanoff. Got a copy, buddy? Mike. Yeah, I got you, Joey. What are you doing? Class is starting here. I'm on Daytona Beach checking out the chicks. Teacher's looking for you. A little different last year. Boy, are you going to be surprised. I can't wait. Hurry up. Get chop. You got it.
Oh, you must be Kalanoff.
You got it.
Gear up.
Wow, back in the 50s. Dr. Bennett, please tell us, how was it spotting back in your day?
Operator, get me the 15 car. Mr. Kalanoff.
I have to use the bathroom.
Well, we're right in the middle of class. Can't you wait for a few minutes?
No, I really have to use the bathroom.
Back in my day, we never went to the bathroom.
I gotta use the bathroom.
Go already. Okay, let's review some of these terms. Clear.
Clear.
Next term. Inside. Never talk while the driver is upon a sudden situation.
Hey guys, isn't this Tweeters Anonymous?
Down the hall. You got a problem with tweeting?
Yeah, I got a problem tweeting. I tweet all the time.
You tweet in the morning?
I'm tweeting right now. I tweet when I'm in the bathroom.
Admitting you got a problem is the first step. Proud of you.
Thanks. All right. Spot good, guys.
We've been here for 2 hours. Thank you for coming, and I hope we don't have to do this again, ever.
Look at the champ brush off.
I know.
Like Kenny Wallace's little cameo in there.
Yeah, that was
I know.
good. Kenny's part was good.
I like the professor. It was like the original.
Yeah, I like the phone gig. The phone gig.
Hello.
Can I get the 15 cars?
Sarah?
Sarah, give
Good
me
stuff.
a beat.
We'll be seeing
Over at
more
the diner.
from Mike
Otis is
Joey and
passed
Chris
out.
all season here on Trackside. Still more to come here today. Vegas, a great track for fans, especially those who visit the Neon Garage. Caitlin does just that next.
Away is as much about getting.
Welcome back to Trackside. Things are actually getting quite squirrely here out at our speed stage, but Las Vegas Motor Speedway, one of the great stops on the NASCAR circuit, one of the reasons the Neon Garage. So many cool things here in Vegas. Of course, the racetrack has one of the cool things as well. And Caitlin, you were there recently.
Yeah, I had a chance to go in there for a couple hours yesterday, and there really is a lot of cool stuff for the fans to do. I would say it's one of the coolest fan experiences I've seen at any track. So let's take a look. Everything is bigger and better in Las Vegas, and the fan experience here in the Neon Garage is no exception to that. There are tons of things for fans to do down here. We've got live music, performers, there's food, there's a bar, and Victory Lane is right here. And another really cool thing is each garage stall has a window, so the fans actually can see the team, see what they're doing, pass them an autograph. It's a lot of cool things going on down here, so let's take a look.
It's so fun to just see who you can see and get their interview, and hopefully they see the kids and make their day.
Is this like the coolest experience ever for you?
Oh, yes.
What do you think of the Neon Garage, the fan experience down here?
Everyone gets to have a good time and check out the cars. You get a little bit of insight on what happens at NASCAR.
Have you hit up the bar yet? I saw a Neon Oasis bar over there.
Hit up the bar about every 15 minutes.
Here in the Neon Garage, I just came across some fans who apparently have a new dance, the NASCAR Shuffle, and they're going to show us. Let's see it.
All right, turn left. Neon shirts, Neon Garage, and the NASCAR Shuffle.
I want you guys, will you do the NASCAR Shuffle?
Oh, sure. I mean, I don't know.
Can we do it?
I don't know how it works.
I don't know how it does it.
They just did it.
We'll go off air.
All right, maybe
go
next week.
Yeah.
Maybe next week.
All right, well, since we're in Vegas, let's see what some of the drivers have been up to since they've been out here. A lot of them have been posting some pictures. So let's take a look at these twit pics. Thanks for all the laughs. Carrot Top, hilarious.
We went to Carrot Top last year, remember?
Oh, it was awesome.
Great show, great show.
Fantastic.
Yep. All right, and Kyle Busch wrote good times in the dunes.
Dang, that car is off the ground.
It's the
mayor.
Let her eat, brother.
Eric Almirola, here's his view from the hotel of the Vegas Strip.
He's like, hey, guess what hotel I'm in?
Pretty cool.
Denny Hamlin, I couldn't resist, bought this baby, and heading to Vegas on a road trip. Heading to Vegas in style.
That's
awesome.
That's Lincoln
Now,
Continental.
how's it getting at home? That's the question.
Danica Patrick, Hoover Dam is no joke. It's huge and beautiful. There
Think
with
she took
her
the damn tour?
and-
I bet they did take the damn tour.
I would have taken the damn tour. I can tell you that right now.
All right,
Now, who
real
was
quickly,
driving?
4 things we learned. Did we learn anything on this
You
show
learn anything?
today?
I learned that Kurt Busch got in more trouble than Kyle.
Yeah, I was going to say
growing
the same thing. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Kurt got in trouble every day, but Kyle goes big.
Goes big?
Yeah.
I learned that
What'd you learn?
Carl likes hot craps.
Oh.
Table, hot craps table.
No,
Carl
that was
does. That was
Jimmy. That
Jimmy.
was Jimmy.
You didn't
I
learn
learned-
anything.
I
You didn't
learned
learn
that a
anything.
cup of hot cocoa is not safe at all because there are donuts living in my hot cocoa.
That's
Sorry
all
about
right.
I'm not happy, but you will be happy
Shuffle
to know
out.
that Trackside returns to Friday night
let's
next week
try it.
in Bristol.
With a
Jeff
donut.
Foxworthy will be our guest. Now it's
move.
time for Sprint Cup practice.
The Chevy Malibu offers an EPA estimated 34 mpg.
Enjoy your Sunday.
The city of Las Vegas bills itself as the entertainment capital of the world. Just 15 miles away from the world-renowned Vegas Strip sits the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It is a true destination for race fans, and odds are 400 miles of racing will come down to a matter of inches. Welcome to sunny Vegas, everybody, and Larry McReynolds. It is race day.
And if you think the speeds with this Gen 6 car was fast at Daytona, the speeds here at Vegas will separate the men from the boys.
Roulette, craps, blackjack. The biggest game in town today, though, is NASCAR.
And NASCAR race day, fueled by Sunoco starts.
It just feels good.
Money feels good.
Come to the checkered flag, buddy. Welcome back.
Awesome!
And Carl had a good feeling in Phoenix. Nothing beats winning. It feels like $1 million. There's a reason they call it a money shot. With familiar names on top of the standings, the circuit heads to Vegas for a standoff on the strip.
That's Vegas, baby.
Looking for fast money at one of NASCAR's fastest tracks. What makes money? Winning. And big players love Vegas. Carl was on the money last week. Who cashes in today?
There is something to do around every corner in the world-famous city of Las Vegas, but it all is a game of chance. The odds are clearly against anyone trying to win a race in NASCAR's top series, but the one thing we know is that one driver will take home the belt today. Our defending champion will start first. He's already been out on the town here in Vegas, and we will see if he can hit on a winning combination. Welcome, everyone, to NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco. It is time to go racing in Las Vegas. We will see who can conquer this 1.5-mile track in the fastest time, because it is sunny, warm, the way it's supposed to be in Vegas. Welcome, everybody. I'm John Roberts, alongside of Kyle Petty, Kenny Wallace, and Larry McReynolds. This is the true test of NASCAR's new race car. Larry, perhaps this is the place it will count the most.
Well, I have to believe when NASCAR and the manufacturers developed this Gen 6 car, they were looking at all of the races, all of the racetracks, but with 16 of our 36 races being at this type of track, an intermediate speedway, I have to believe a lot of focus was put on this type of track. In Las Vegas Motor Speedway, a lot of speed, banking, low grip, and what we always love, the drivers can move the car around to the bottom to the top. I think we're going to see a great race today, but I think this is going to be a great test for this Gen 6 race car.
And the word fast, capital F-A-S-T, fast. Listen to this, speeds of 202 mile an hour getting into turn one, and not to mention those nasty bumps in the middle of the corner. Last year, this race, I said, Matt Kenseth's going to win. No, him and Casey can't get into a big wreck off of turn two. Kyle, this race is fast and bumpy down there in turn one.
It is bumpy, and the racetrack's got a lot to do with this, but I go back to what Larry says. This car, when it was developed, it's about compromise. You can't have a speedway car and a road course be the same car. We run road courses, short tracks, intermediate tracks, and as Larry said, this is the heart of what the Cup circuit is, these intermediate type tracks. And it's time for this car to show what it can do, because just as Larry said, I think this car was developed for these tracks.
And after that extended test session, the drivers did tell us that the air is circulating all around these cars, and we should expect a lot of side-by-side racing today. Well, it was one of the biggest mysteries in NASCAR over the past season. What happened to Carl Edwards? After losing the championship in a tiebreaker, he basically disappeared. Whether that was due to bad luck or stiff competition, Carl is back to his winning ways.
Luck, good or bad, occurs beyond one's control.
Edwards gets his first win at Vegas, his first win of 2011.
Following Carl Edwards' win in 2011, he endured an unlucky streak that lasted 2 years, 727 days, 70 races.
70 races without winning is not a lot of fun. I thought I really liked racing, but I realized during that 70 race streak that I really like winning.
Big crash, turn three. Carl Edwards.
What a takeoff for Carl Edwards. He gets away.
Post today, Dad. What was the black flag for? They said you jumped the restart.
Hi, boys. Sorry about that.
He has no luck this year. Every time he turns around, he's in something going on, some kind of wreck.
Sorry we didn't make the chase, guys. You guys gave a heck of an effort. Luck wasn't on our side.
I don't know how to explain the disappointment and the shock, really, of not running the way we thought we were going to run.
Correct.
I mean, a year ago, I was planning on dominating.
The 2013 season didn't begin with any more promise. At Daytona testing and speed weeks, Edwards was involved in 4 separate wrecks. Still, he remained positive.
I always have a lot of confidence, but the problem is sometimes that doesn't coincide. Could have got down and out and felt bad for ourselves. Even when things aren't going well, I feel blessed. I never feel cursed. I mean, I'm very aware of the good fortune I have in my life.
Last year we came down here, we sat on the pole for the 500, everything was going smooth, and our year went terribly, so we're hoping this is all the bad luck.
On race day, he wrecked again.
Big time trouble in turn number 2.
Trevor Bayne up to the wall, collects another. That is Carl Edwards. The 5th wreck that Edwards has been involved in.
I was a little nervous that we'd come to Phoenix, have some more bad luck, and really be in a hole.
Come to the checkered flag, buddy. Welcome back.
Winless streak over.
Carl Edwards has won here at the Phoenix International Raceway.
Whatever it is you're doing out there, don't lose hope. You just keep digging and things can work out. I'm proof this is just awesome. One of the coolest wins of my life.
It was a big change for Carl to break a 70-race winless streak. We certainly do not want to take anything away from crew chief Bob Osborne, because Larry, together, they won almost 20 races and really missed the championship by 1 position on the racetrack. But sometimes a driver just needs that one little boost, and Jimmy Fennig is a veteran crew chief with a winning record.
Well, and I've watched and observed and listened to Jimmy Fennig and Carl Edwards already just 2 races into 2013. And Jimmy Fennig, he has been around for a long time. And he demands a lot, especially out of his race car driver. He's told Carl Edwards, you have to be engaged. But I want to tip my hat to Jimmy Fennig. Now that man has won races with Generation 3, 4, 5, and now 6, and he's won races in 4 different decades. I don't even know if anyone else exists that can accomplish that in this day and time. I just think that's exactly what Carl Edwards needed and was looking for.
Well, Kyle's old enough to do that, but nobody else. Yeah,
yes,
Kyle is. But anyway, for a race car driver, Kenny, the confidence that gets back. I love what Carl said. He said, I knew I loved racing, but when I wasn't winning, I kind of forgot that what I really loved was winning.
But here's the realistic part of it. You know, you're sitting there. I'm in Concord, North Carolina. I'm at the Steak and Shake, and fans come up and they go, what's wrong with Carl Edwards? You know, a year ago they were saying, what's wrong with Dale Jr.? Here's the deal. They always say this. What's wrong with Carl Edwards? We know he can drive. So because of all of his winning, he got that bypass. Imagine if he would have started his career like this. He'd have been gone in a heartbeat. 2 years, wreck after wreck, looked like he couldn't even drive a race car. But Kyle Petty, because we knew he could drive, he was allowed to go through this hardship for 2 years.
More importantly, we may all have had faith in him and knew that he could drive. He had faith in himself, and that's the big deal. He never lost that, and we heard in that piece, you know, I had the confidence. It just didn't translate to the racetrack. I think being in the situation that he's in right now, hopefully a lot of that luck's behind him. There's a lot of luck in this. We'll talk about that later. But 5 cars at Daytona, that's unheard of.
He never got negative.
Never got negative about it.
Exactly. Well, race fans, we want to know your opinion on this subject, and it's very easy for you to get involved with the show. Later on, you can be part of our Race Day live vote. Use a mobile device or computer and go to speed.com. Find us on the NASCAR on Speed Facebook page. Our first question today is, what role does luck play in racing? A lot, a little? Get involved with the show and let us know what you think. Well, it was a comment that largely went unnoticed at first, except by NASCAR. Denny Hamlin was hit with a $25,000 fine for a comment he made after last week's race in Phoenix. Denny raced from the back of the field to a third-place finish, but afterwards he was critical of the new race car. The sport's governing body took exception, and Hamlin feels slighted by the fine.
It's an opinion. It's not even a bad one. I don't want to make things worse than they already are. And this is something that was absolutely nothing. I got blown into something. And
I don't believe in this. I'm never going to believe in it. And so as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to pay the fine. If they suspend me, they suspend me. I don't care at this point.
You can't criticize your core product and what you're trying to do. Constructive criticism is one thing, but there's different statements that people made that are damaging, and that's where we go. We won't tolerate those types of things.
Well, of course, Twitterville was abuzz with this subject. Denny Hamlin himself says he believes he was severely disrespected. He was hit with a fine that has something to say about his relationship with NASCAR. Needless to say, he was upset about the fine. You heard his comments earlier. Trust me, this is not about the money. It's much deeper. I will now shift my focus on giving FedEx and my team what they deserve this weekend, a win. We've seen in the past when Denny Hamlin's back is up against the wall, he runs really well. But, Kyle, let's look at this from the outside. It's easy to see both sides of this argument. A, NASCAR does not want the drivers bashing the product on the racetrack, but B, these drivers, they want to voice their opinion and tell the truth.
Yeah, it is easy to see both sides of this situation, but I'm going to have to go with Denny Hamlin. I'm on his side on this. I think he was disrespected. NASCAR should have set him down and talked to him, and we heard Denny say this has been blown out of proportion. I think it's been blown way out of proportion. He said this car is not as good as I had hoped. This car is going to take us a little bit of time to get this car to drive as good as the Gen 5. They seem to have an issue with comparing the Gen 6 to the Gen 5. What else are you going to compare it to? That's the car I drove last year. I've got to compare it to that. I just think that it's incredibly funny in a sport where our tagline is, boys have at it on the track. Our tagline should be, you can't have an opinion off the track or we're going to fine you.
Well, there's just needs a little bit of a pause before I speak, because Kyle, that was good.
It needs a big comment.
Yeah. Hey, I'm ready to go. Here we go. NASCAR has accomplished one thing, and this is what's going to happen. Now when a driver gets interviewed, he's going to think very heavily what he says. And most likely, he's going to say, I want to thank all the boys back at the shop, God, Goodyear, and Gatorade. I think that's what you're going to hear. But you know what, really? To me, after 4 or 5 days of this going on and on, there's not a matter of who's right and who's wrong now. It's not NASCAR versus Denny Hamlin. It's about all these fans out here.
True.
It's the court. They're so loud, I've got to pause for a minute. Right now, this is in the court of public opinion. These people making $25,000 a year. Larry McReynolds, this went south for NASCAR in a bad and ugly way.
Yeah, the timing of the comment, the timing of the fine, it was just terrible. But because I felt like we had so much energy and momentum with the car, Danica Patrick at Daytona, 54-year-old Mark Martin sitting on the pole at Phoenix, and Carl Edwards breaking a 70-race winning streak. I was a little puzzled by Denny's frustration. He had to go to the rear of the field, and he drove up and almost won the race and finished third. In fact, one time he was battling for the lead. But I think frustration just continues to ride with Denny Hamlin. Daytona, he was in a position to win the Daytona 500, and on the last restart, he was in the wrong line. You go to Phoenix, qualifies 8th. He looks like he may be able to get his first win of the year there. He has to go to the rear field with engine change. I just think frustration continues to haunt Denny Hamlin.
Okay, and perhaps he might break that frustration today. Of course, this is a good racetrack for Denny Hamlin, as most of them are. We'll see how he can do today. Still to come on NASCAR Race Day, engines break from time to time, but we will get to the bottom of the recent failures for Joe Gibbs Racing. We will check in on the latest news from the garage as pre-race inspection continues. And luck is changing for some drivers. Will that continue here at Vegas for others? Stay with us. NASCAR Race Day rolls on.
NASCAR Race Day is fueled by Sunoco. Visit SunocoRewards.com to find out how you can save 5 cents off every gallon you pump. Brought to you in part by Camping World, America's largest retailer of RVs, parts, accessories, and service. And by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
Out here,
anything can happen.
Seeing the checkered flag, and that winless streak is over. Carl Edwards has won.
Checkered flag, buddy. Welcome back. Awesome! Awesome!
Cousin Carl was king of Phoenix as he broke his winless streak. But will the success continue? Plus, Kurt had another headache at Phoenix.
I would never want anything good to happen to me.
We'll show you his tough luck run in the desert, then show Team 78 how to change their fortune. And the blows keep coming.
Whoa, trouble front straightaway. It was like a cannon went off.
A little right front. I'm okay, but it was a huge hit.
We'll look back at Danica's hard hit and discuss how these knocks affect a driver. Then we'll get the lowdown from gambling men as they show how to hit the lottery in Vegas.
Hell yeah, boys! I'm finally going.
And the big names are here to talk hot topics as your favorites give the inside scoop. Plus, we'll pull back the curtain on the garage area to give you the inside look and all breaking news. The crew will ask all the tough questions, and our gang picks their favorites to hold today's trophy. The best is yet to come. NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco, continues now on Speed.
Las Vegas race fans, it is race day. It is time to get on your feet and see if you can peg the Allstate Mayhem meter. Give it a go. The fans here in Vegas are one of a kind. One of the more unique things about this racetrack is the red carpet. And that's where we find Rutledge Wood with Carl Edwards.
Yeah, John, it's crazy down here on the red carpet they're doing for all the drivers to get to the drivers' meeting. Just caught up with Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski. Carrot Top's behind me signing autographs for the fans. Carl, you got to shake the dust off that backflip last week. How'd it feel, man?
It felt good. I was a little nervous, to be honest with you. I slipped a little when I climbed out of the window, and I saw lots of folks with their cell phones out, like ready for some action, but we made it around, and it was good. It's just been an unbelievable week. I cannot thank everyone enough. I mean, from the engine shop to the guys in the fab shop, everybody at Roush Fenway, it's very cool to be back in Victory Lane.
Since we're in Vegas, is today a good day to bet on the 99 car?
I think so. I think our Fords are very strong. I think that the sun being out, it's going to be slick. I think it's going to be a good race. That second, third groove are going to come in. It's going to be cool.
Well, good luck, man. I'll let you get back to signing stuff for the fans.
Thank you.
Brad Keselowski, you had a busy week in Vegas, too. Not only did we hear about the indoor burnout, but you got to play a little poker this week.
Played a little poker, had a little bit of fun, and starting from the pole today. So, we got a lot of things going for us. We don't have as much speed as what Carl's got, which is a little disappointing, but hopefully we'll find it here for the race. Like you said, it's going to be hot and slick. Hopefully the track will open up and we can find the right groove for the Miller Lite Ford.
Now, I know you didn't technically win the pole, but when you get the pole from rain like that, is that still, like, it's still kind of a fun thing, right?
Yeah, I don't really care how we get it. We'll take it. I'm not a great qualifier, so we definitely needed it today, so I want to take advantage of that starting spot and the number one pit stall. Yeah, I'm sorry, hold on.
You just got to sign that for Carrot Top here.
Is this Carrot Top? No, this is a lookalike.
Yeah, that's sad. Wouldn't it have a Carrot Top double? How horrible.
Star-studded events down here. Good luck today, buddy. Brad Keselowski starting first. John, it's star-studded. Why aren't you out here, buddy?
Just like you said, Rutledge, because it's star-studded. Exactly. So what role does luck play in racing? A lot? A little? Let us know. Our vote is open. You can tell us by using your smartphone or PC and go to speed.com or the NASCAR on Speed Facebook page right now to vote live. And already fans are saying overwhelmingly luck plays a big part. There's one driver who puts a great deal of pressure on himself to perform well at Vegas, and he's with Wendy.
Kyle Busch had a great nationwide race yesterday. What that means today, Kyle, for the Cup race, what can you correlate from what you saw and learned and felt on the racetrack yesterday?
It was interesting. It started out shade, and then the sun came out, got really hot, got slick. So we'll be having some of that here today. The Monster Energy Camry then was really good, and the M&M's Camry was awesome in practice. So Dave and the guys done a really good job of giving me a good car, and we start 13th, so we'll just try to work through that and get up towards the front a little bit closer and see if we can have a shot at winning this thing come the end.
What's the biggest concern with track position and being able to pass here today at Vegas?
For me, it's sort of what happened to us last week. I was dipping to the outside of Carl there trying to get by him, and I got loose, and the car just swapped ends on me. So I did a little bit of that yesterday too. in practice trying to look to the outside of some guys, and the car was getting really, really loose on me. So it's really weird what we're seeing with this new Gen 6 car. We've got to play that by ear and see what we're going to learn here today. It's a big learning day here at the 1.5 mile, first taste of it, so we'll see what we get.
Now, most drivers have stayed out west since the Phoenix race. You've had some fun, too. Tell us about what you've been doing in between Phoenix and Vegas.
Yeah, being a desert rat, I went out to the sand dunes and just hung out there for a little bit with my dad and a couple friends of mine, and then, just tooled around with some sand cars and some four-wheelers and stuff like that. And it's kind of cool. We used to spend 90% of the time working on them and 10% of the time playing with them, but the four-wheelers have swapped that, so the four-wheelers are fun. The cars still, we've got a little bit more work to do, so I'm hard on my dad about trying to fix all that stuff up and getting it going right.
Speaking about your dad, a hometown boy for you, Kyle, you and your brother returning to your hometown. How special is this race today, being in Las Vegas?
It's always cool. Sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves, and we hurt ourselves more doing that than just being able to go out there like any other race. So yesterday, just calm, cool, collected the whole day, and it worked out for me, steadily move my way up towards the front, and hopefully do some of that same stuff today, and get a good position towards the end of the race, final pit stop, and go after him at the end if I can.
All right, good luck out there, Kyle Busch. We'll start lucky number 13.
Wendy, thanks a lot. You got to love those little kid pictures. Speed brings you up close and personal to all the racing action from Las Vegas. Go to speed.com for complete coverage, including photos, expert analysis, and live video updates during the race. Still to come on race day, Kurt Busch is another hometown favorite, but we will tell you why he may have another slight advantage on the racetrack this season. As speeds rise, so does the intensity of the hits that drivers are taking. We'll examine what effect all this is having, and we will take you behind the scenes as NASCAR's Top Series gets ready for the biggest day of the week, and that is race day. Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco. Here at Las Vegas, the stars of NASCAR are getting the red carpet treatment as we see Denny Hamlin making his way in, Jimmy Johnson, your Daytona 500 winner, and also the most successful current driver at Las Vegas with 4 victories for JJ. Well, it didn't take long for Kurt Busch to go from the pressed white shirts of Penske Racing to the flat brim hats of Furniture Row. From the heart of stock car country in North Carolina, Kurt now races for a team that is headquartered in Denver, Colorado. But this outlaw driver and a Maverick team may be the perfect fit.
There's no downside to aiming high. Spread your wings around and fly. There's no upside to aiming down.
Everything we do here is about ourselves. It's about our team. It's about our guys. It's about having each other's backs.
Up and down we go.
Should be right at 6. His head's shaking 5.7.
I'm asked the question all the time about being out in Denver and how it works, what it's like to be away from the center of racing.
Doing it out of Colorado, you think, why in the world would somebody do that? That's the first thought.
It's the home base of operations for Furniture Row companies and for Barney Visser. There's no reason in the world that if you're logistically well organized that you can't run a cup team from anywhere in the country.
Hey guys, well, how's it going? Good. How about the schedule? You gonna be ready?
There just isn't any distractions that you might get when you're around several different race teams week in, week out.
In the end, it comes down to who is the guy sitting behind the wheel.
He said he was racing you. It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you asked me stupid questions.
I think we knew pretty well what we were getting into with Kurt. His talent speaks for itself with his history and his stats.
Everybody that is in the position they are on this team has been with big teams, and they've seen big organizations, and this is just a good fit for all of us.
It's raised the game for everyone here.
We've got great support from Richard Childress Racing with engines and chassis and engineering support. So it's like we're part of a big team, but we get to do our own thing.
So we're projecting 2 days of repair time? I hold the position as Executive Director of Competition here at Furniture Row. I'm also the Director of Racing Operations at Richard Childress Racing, tying our organizations more closely together.
Looks like we're fixing a lot of wrecks.
A couple of picks.
A couple of picks, huh?
Yeah,
that's all right.
Well, having Todd come on board again was a huge move. His record speaks for himself. He also understands RCR, the company, and how to navigate through it and work with the people that are already there.
Well, I think these guys at Furniture have already proven that you can do it without being in the Carolinas, and I think that when it's all said and done over the course of this year, I think we can win multiple times.
Regan Smith, driving the Furniture Row Chevy, based in Denver, Colorado, is going to do it. He'll hold off Carl Edwards at the toughest track of them all, Darlington Raceway.
It was just truly an amazing experience to be able to bring that first win to Denver, Colorado on Furniture Row.
The value that it had to this team was just almost immeasurable. I mean, it legitimized us.
One of the things we don't have out in Denver, Colorado is our pit crew.
All right, here we go. Rhythm hits on. Rhythm hits on.
Tiny's a pit crew coach. That's their garage. They go there every day. They work out. They do pit stops. We really like the direction that the team's headed right now. And again, we're still building a race team. We have a strong foundation as a single car team. But you have to set your goals. And our goal is to compete in the chase and ultimately be a team that can win a championship.
So just about anybody that looks at that team would say they're overachieving, especially with the win they had at Darlington. But now they have Kurt Busch behind the wheel of that car, KP. And just really, what is a second chance for a driver?
That's a good question. You know, when you talk about second chances, you know, Kurt has been at Penske, he's been at Roush, now he's out with Furniture Row. And I think this is more of Kurt, not a second chance. He's already built a career. He's trying to build a team here, and a team that can win races consistently. You know, drivers don't get a lot of second chances when we talk about stuff. I think Kurt Busch has had multiple chances. He's on his third chance right now when you look at it. But as he's been to the top, Furniture Row is more of a Richard Petty Motorsports, more of a Ganassi Racing at this point in time. It's a second-tier team. It's not a top team. So when you get to the top, that's when you got to worry about that second chance. I think Joey Logano is on his second chance right now. We got guys like Casey Atwood, people like that, got one single chance and never got a shot back. I think second chances are a second chance at the Cup level when we talk about it. Just because you get to the Cup level and you go back to trucks or you go back to Nationwide, you're still a race car driver, but you're not at the top level of what NASCAR is. And you know, I think Kurt's done a tremendous job of going out there and putting this team together, and I think it has a ton of potential. I'm not sure where they're going to go, but I'm not sure they're ever going to be a Penske or a Roush or a Gibbs or a Hendrick team.
And Kenny, you have a unique perspective on that team. You were their first driver, and you went out to Denver, Colorado, and saw how they did this. Is this a legitimate second chance for a driver?
Well, when I chose to be the first Sprint Cup driver, they were still building the shop. They asked me to help add some validity to the team, and they gave me a second chance. But they also gave Joe Nemechek a second chance, and now it looks like they're giving Kurt Busch, as Kyle says, a third chance because he's been with two other top-tier teams. I would say that when you look through the sport right now, if you're going to compare drivers to getting second chances, is Brian Vickers getting a second chance? Is Elliott Sadler getting a second chance? But I think more important to this story, and I want to ask Larry this. Larry, we know for a fact that it takes deep pockets to do what they're doing. Barney Visser, the owner, has to reach into his wallet and spend an extra $1 million a year with all this transporting going back and forth. Why do they have to prove this? Why does it mean so much to them to do this out there?
Yeah, I mean, I had the pleasure of sitting down and talking with Barney Visser, the owner of this race team, a year or so ago, and I was very intrigued because, yeah, it'd be easy to move to Charlotte, move the race team there, and operate there like almost everyone else does. But he said, Larry, I don't want to just be an owner of a race team, and I have to live in Denver. That's where my company operates, and have a race team in Charlotte and just see them on the weekends. I want to be a part of it. I want to be engaged. And the other thing, when you get people like Todd Berrier, Mark McCardle, Pete Rondeau, you get them to Denver, you maybe don't have to worry about them going down the street one week for an extra $100 a week to go to work. So once you get them there, but I like the things they're doing. And I I think hiring Todd Barrier to tie that whole Richard Childress alliance in, Todd was at Richard Childress for so many years, to run the ECR engine package, I think they're doing everything right. And the most interesting story, he ties the race team together with his furniture company. When you see a Furniture Row truck going back and forth from Charlotte to the West Coast, not only does it have furniture in it, it probably has a couple of engines in the front of it, so he kind of ties it all together. Can they win a championship? That may be a stretch. This is only their 4th full-time season, but I would not be surprised to see them win a race or two with Kurt Busch.
Exactly. And talk to just about anybody in that garage area. They'll also tell you that Barney Visser is one of the true nice guys in the sport as well. It is now time for our AT&T race day break, and for that, we go to Wendy Venturini.
Thank you, Johnny. I'm out here on pit road with some changes happening. 2 cars will be going to the rear of the field due to an engine change. It was the 42 car that you see behind me, Juan Pablo Montoya, and I'll show you right in front of him is the 1 car, Jamie McMurray. You guys were just talking about Kurt Busch. This is where the 78 car will be positioned. They're in inspection line. They chalk out all the cars. That's where they know where to park them. But the 1 and the 42 both had to change an engine. Now this goes back to Friday when they were warming them up. It had to do with the length of the input shaft. They had some problems with it, which caused a main bearing issue. And since they presented the cars for an inspection, even though we didn't get on the racetrack Friday, these 2 cars with Hendrick Motorsports engines will be going to the rear of the field for today's race. Matt?
Hey, thanks, Wendy. Last week we saw some problems in tech, cars getting late to the line. Because why? New Gen 6 car, and with that came some new issues with the technical process here. We have a platform. We have some other issues on the grid that they deal with. So what did NASCAR do this week? They gave the guys more time in the garage. Last night they gave them an extra hour and an extra hour this morning for them to get in the garage. Also what they've done is they've moved the order of the platform, the grid, and the scales. This week we will lead with the platform, and they're hoping that they get the flow right, because this is an ever-evolving process for NASCAR, the crew chiefs and the drivers as they move through this Gen 6 car. So it's an issue that we'll keep an eye on. Each week it'll be different, possibly as the setup in the garage is different, but they're trying to find the right flow for this tech inspection. Johnny?
Matt, thanks a lot. We certainly have the right flow when it comes to weather. There's certainly not much rain out here in the Las Vegas desert, but this time around, we have picture-perfect weather. Let's check in with Fox 5's Ted Priddy.
Thank you, JR. Well, a sure sign the weather has improved. I'm with Stacy right here and Portia, and I want to ask you, Portia, did you apply sunscreen today?
I did, because it's going to be a beautiful day out here at the racetrack.
It is. I just want to let you know, I brought some extra. In the interest of safety, if you need more, you just let me know. Well, these fans, are you guys ready for a race? They have their engines red. We all know what happened on Friday. Let's take a look at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway as the weather gods dealt Las Vegas a bad hand, at least for Friday of NASCAR week. And a 1/4 of an inch of rain falling on the Las Vegas Motor Speedway with gusts of 40 miles an hour. And really some bad timing. It was our first measurable rainfall in 30 days in Las Vegas. Let's take a look at weather today. Couldn't be really any better. A far cry from what we saw on Friday. Start of the race, 60 degrees, humidity at 25%, so we're drying out. Just a little bit of a breeze out of the northeast. And so opposed to yesterday, the mostly cloudy skies yesterday kept the track kind of cool. We will warm up today with that full sun, 65 degrees at race end. And like I said, we are drying out after all the rain, all the clouds yesterday. And I got to tell you, I'm from Las Vegas. I'm a betting man, and it looks like the NASCAR race day forecast, I'm betting on that thing. Let's send it back to JR.
Sounds like a wise one, Ted. Just to tell you how unlucky we were. It was only 4.5 inches of rain fall in the desert. Out here, we got a 1/4 of an inch on Friday. But does luck play a role in racing? A little? Let us know what you think, as our live fan vote is open. You can get involved by using your smartphone or PC and go to speed.com or the NASCAR on Speed Facebook page. Let's take a look at what the vote is saying right now. And guys, the fans overwhelmingly are saying right now that yes, luck does play into these races, because we've seen these race teams run great all day long, KP. You hit a bird, you hit a piece of metal on the backstretch. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, and luck is a huge part of it, but luck starts a long time ago before you ever get to the racetrack. There's a book by Malcolm Gladwell called Outliers, and it says environment with personal drive and motivation affects his or her possibility and opportunity for success. I hate it when people say, that guy's smarter than everybody, that guy works harder than everybody. There's no team out there. I don't don't care whether you're front row racing or Hendrick Motorsports. Those guys put in the same hours. It's the opportunities that they have and the time that comes along and the things that come their way that make them a better team.
I can say it simple. Luck is preparation meeting opportunity. I need say no more.
Jeff Gordon was leading at Martinsville. Chunk of concrete came out of the track. He hit it. Dale Earnhardt was leading Daytona and ran into a bird. Luck, luck, luck.
And for once, the fans agree with Kenny and Kyle Petty. 150,000 votes. The vote is closed. 83% say that luck plays a role in racing, and most of these fans think that that is big. But it's now our luck to throw it down to Rutledge Wood, who is on the red carpet with Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, and he's had some good luck this year winning that 500. But, Jimmy, busy week for you, man. Surfing, skiing, Ellen DeGeneres show. How did you fit all of that in that short amount of time?
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. On Monday it was really busy, and we were doing some promotional work for the California Speedway. They had some surfers, skiers, a bunch of us all screwing around, having there I am paddling out. That GoPro didn't last long. That was on the front of my board. Of course, yeah. No, come on. I actually ride some waves. Don't show me falling.
That was a pretty good one.
That was the first wave of the day. There we go. There we go. Now I'm cruising. So yeah, it was like a 20-foot wave, and I was just shredding it. So that was a fun day. And then we went skiing after. Actually,
don't worry, no wipeouts for this, though, right?
No, well, not that I can see. We went to the racetrack and took the guys for a ride, and then we're going through the park, having a little fun, catching some air. So it was a fun day.
Was this?
Oh, I've got a bruise I could show you on my hip from that one. Yeah.
I was going to say, do you remember that golf cart incident? Does Rick let you go do this stuff?
Ask for forgiveness, baby.
That's it. P3 today. You ready to get out there?
I am ready to get out there.
Can I borrow like $100 to put on you?
Yeah, sure.
But then do we split the winnings?
I might get in trouble for that. Somehow, betting on myself.
Well then, John, will you loan me $20? Because Jimmy's starting third. He's ready.
I place 48 bucks.
Okay.
48. Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. I got you covered, Rut. You can bet on that. All right, right now we're going to send it across the country and check in with Adam Alexander, who is holding down Speed Center. Double A.
Thank you, JR. We're talking all about the nationwide race from yesterday at Las Vegas, and you can't do that without Sam Hornish Jr. Huge win yesterday, and let's look back at the highlights. Move of the day, about 60 laps in. Sam, you're running third, but not for long.
Yeah, definitely was the time to make the move, get ourselves some clean air, and was really able to stretch our legs there and show everybody what kind of race car we had.
Leading 114 laps, but 13 to go, a couple of cautions. Kyle Larson hard into the wall here. The last thing you wanted to see with a huge lead is a caution because you had to battle Kyle Busch on the restart.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to give him another opportunity? But I got a good restart on the second one there. Was able to run hard with Kyle. We gave each other plenty of room and able to finally get the pass completed or hold him off. And, man, it's a great feeling when you have days that all come to plan and everything works out right.
Career win number 2. The celebration is so sweet. And when you look at the leaderboard, it is Sam Hornish Jr. who has his name at the top. We'll talk more about that. It's Speed Center tonight at 7. More race day after the break.
Start with nothing. Build a groundbreaking car. Good. Now build a time machine. Go here. Find someone who can build a futuristic dashboard display. Bring Future Guy back. Watch him build a TFT display like nothing you've ever seen. Get him to explain exactly what that is.
The thin film transistor display.
Maybe not. Just show it. Customize the dash. Give it park assist. That fuel efficiency flower thing. Send Future Guy home. His work here is done. Destroy time machine. Win some awards. Send in Brady. That's how you do it. Easy.
Any moment not riding it is a moment you wish you were. Can-Am Spyder. With exclusive Y-frame design and patented vehicle stability system, you've never felt so connected to the road. Discover riding reinvented at canam.brp.com. Ride a Can-Am Spyder now for as low as $199 a month.
Patrick, down to the inside, hard into the inside wall.
You okay?
That was a big one.
Felt pretty big, so I don't know what it looked like.
They are crashing into the start-finish line. Danica Patrick is hit.
We're going to hit you.
Patrick slides up the track, slams into the outside wall, driver's side first. Trouble on the front stretch. Danica Patrick gets turned around. Nose first into the inside wall.
That 78 straight up wrecked you.
That's been the whole night with him.
Danica Patrick's car slides down and bounces off the inside safer barrier.
Bummer. The car was really fast. What are you going to do?
Go right front.
It looks pretty bad right there, as long as you're okay.
Yeah, okay, but it was a huge hit.
Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco. There is a great crowd of race fans who have come from all over the globe to join us here on race day and getting set for these 400 miles of white-knuckle racing here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Now, we saw Danica Patrick have a lot of hard hits in the early part of her career, and, of course, we've already heard all the jokes about Kenny taking hard hits along the way and that having some effect on other things. But seriously, when a race car driver takes the hits early in the career, really, when you look at it, it could be a positive thing or a negative thing, because Jeff Gordon, let's remember, never really took any hard hits until way late in his career. Is it good to get it over with?
If it does not knock you out, if you wreck a lot earlier in your career, it can, it can get you a concussion. So, I mean, if it's deal, it will also do this. It will make you finish races. So, Larry, she's real aggressive right now. She's wrecking a lot. And I think that will subdue her a little bit to where she won't wreck it. Maybe makes you underdrive and finish races.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really relate to hitting the wall hard because I've never driven a race car, but I know working with some drivers that took some hard licks. I just think drivers, they have a different special DNA. I go back to 1994 in a practice crash at Michigan. Ernie Irvin hit the wall there and was out for over a year. His first time back, we almost won North Wilkesboro with him.
Yeah.
I look at Davey Allison in 1992, flipped 11 times at Pocono, and the next week he was back to start the race at Talladega with his right hand Velcroed to the shifter. I just think drivers have a special DNA. I know you probably get tired of getting hit in the head.
Yeah, you do.
But I just think
I did it for 30 years.
You guys have a special...
And it didn't have any adverse effect on you.
It had plenty of adverse effect. I'll say this. I think early in your career, hitting the walls are part of the learning curve. It's just part of the process, and you never think twice about it. I think later in your career, and I think we saw it with Jeff Gordon, and we definitely saw it with Darrell Waltrip in his bad wreck at Daytona. Different driver, drove a little bit different after those accidents. So I think late in your career, the big hits are worse on your head. And what I mean by that is just how you think about it.
And bottom line, once again, hats off to NASCAR for making these cars and these racetracks much safer than they have ever been in the history of our sport. Now let's go back down to the red carpet as we see the number 29 car, which will be driven by Kevin Harvick, passing live through inspection right now. Wendy is standing by with the driver.
Well, Kevin Harvick had a good run going last week at Phoenix. Ran in the top 10 all day. Kevin, I know you want to back it up here in Vegas, getting to victory lane. Tell us what you're expecting with this racetrack and the race car when we get into today's race.
Well, our car has been, Ream Chevrolet has been fast throughout the week, and today we have a lot of sun shining on the track, which we only had for a brief moment yesterday in our second practice there. So kind of have to just see how the first part of the race goes. I think track position is obviously going to be important, so we got to get on and off pit road well and not make any mistakes and try to be around at the end.
Okay, the question that everyone wants to know, are you getting much sleep here in Vegas? Because if you're without Delana and Keelan, you probably are getting sleep in Vegas.
I have slept well, and Keelan's starting to sleep well at night too, so that part's going good. But I haven't left the track. Don't really enjoy going into town during race week. Just like to hang out here and a little quiet time.
It's a bunch of crazies out there on Las Vegas Boulevard, as I have witnessed before. Now, talking about today's race, the bumps on this racetrack, do you think that's going to play into anything that we'll see out with track position and being able to pass?
Well, I think that the groove is nice and wide. I think you can run around those bumps if that's what you choose to. A lot of guys have chosen to run through the bumps on the bottom. You can run through the middle. So you have a lot of options with the groove spreading out and moving all over the racetrack. So I think with the sun being out and being able to move around the racetrack, should be able to pass unless the guy in front of you is running in your lane.
Well, hopefully that will be the case for Kevin Harvick. Of course, qualifying canceled earlier this weekend here in Las Vegas. Rain in the desert, which means Kevin Harvick will start 8th.
And Wendy, his best finish was back in 2010, a second place for Kevin Harvick. Tomorrow on the Hub, get a full recap of the NASCAR action from Sin City, plus Larry Mack and Elliott Sadler break it all down for you with their expert analysis. Catch NASCAR Race Hub tomorrow at 6 Eastern, only on Speed. And throughout this season, here on Race Day, we're going to take you live all around the racetrack on racing's biggest day. That being Sunday, that being Race Day. We'll take you inside inspection, inside the crews, getting ready for the race and getting their race cars ready for the most demanding 400 miles of the week, which are coming up today live on Speed. And coming up right now, we have more on Race Day. There is no better place in Las Vegas for a driver to change their luck, but so far this season, some drivers have already made a step in that direction. Could this be the year for Dale Jr.? He's off to one of his best starts ever. We'll show you how he's done that, and also we'll go back in the garage and get you the latest news from NASCAR's top series.
Go further.
Welcome back, everybody, to Race Day as we see Ryan Newman taking the red carpet. This is a true destination and a fan favorite, this Las Vegas Motor Speedway, so they like to do things a little bit different. And truth be told, Kyle Petty wore that same outfit, but when he saw it on that young lady, he decided to change. There's Tony Stewart, a recent winner at this racetrack, as he takes to the red carpet. And there's a very tall gentleman that's having a good time here. And that is not a Mike Helton lookalike down in Neon Garage. That is actually Mike Helton, the boss himself. That is a lookalike. Rutledge Wood lookalike, by the way. Oh,
Elvis is not dead.
He's not. He is here. This is a true test for NASCAR's new Sprint Cup race car. The majority of races are on 1.5-mile racetracks, and this is the first such layout. For more, let's go to Matt Clark for our Sunoco pit strategy of the week.
Hey, thanks, Johnny. I'm joined by Drew Blickensderfer, crew chief on the 9-car. Drew, you guys tested here Thursday, rained out Friday, early morning Saturday practice, and now you're going to race kind of in a temperature in the heat, you know, Sunday afternoon. So how do you keep up with the car and the changes to get this car dialed in to win this thing?
Well, it's a tough thing. You know, it's a new Gen 6 car for all of us, and we really don't know what to expect. We think the groove will probably widen out. People will be slipping and sliding around the racetrack. So we took our notes from Thursday, took our notes from yesterday morning in the cool weather, and we kind of hope we got a good balance for today's race.
All right, so talking about balance, what's the strategy going to be? 2 tires, 4 tires, fuel mileage to get this race won, to get across the checker finish line?
You know, you always want track position towards the end of the race. People are going to be taking 2 tires. They're going to be taking gas only. Some people might get off sequence on fuel. We've seen that before at these 1.5 miles. So it's going to have to, you know, starting 19th, 20th area where we're at, we're going to have to definitely make sure we're on top of our game on the pit box and get on and off pit road. You know, fuel at the end of these races is big. You know, we got to make sure we get it full, and we might not see him again since tire wears so well.
Drew Blickensderfer with today's Sunoco pit strategy. Johnny?
Thanks a lot, Matt. Saturday, the stars of Supercross take their war to Indy with the championship up for grabs. A win in Indy takes the victor one step closer to the title. Get down and dirty with Monster Energy Supercross Saturday at 7:30 Eastern live on Speed. And still to come on Race Day, what is behind the strong start for Dale Earnhardt Jr., and what will it mean for the rest of the season? Luck is such a big part of the culture of this city, but what does it mean on the racetrack? We will examine that. And you won't be truly ready to go racing today unless you stay with us here. NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco, is your one and only season-long NASCAR pre-race authority.
Why me? I won Daytona last year.
I won nationwide.
I'm loyal. I like animals.
I'm better looking.
The all-new 2013 NASCAR Fantasy Live.
Am I on your team?
When a car has a range of engines, from the fuel-efficient EcoBoost to a plug-in hybrid with a
When NASCAR visits Vegas, there's a wager around every turn. We'll show you how Lady Luck plays a part in winning and losing, and who needs her help today. The last laps of a race can be a headache for some, especially on a green-white checker. The gang looks into late restart drama and the spoken and unspoken rules of last lap racing. we're not stopping there. We'll set up the live fan vote to give your views a voice and share the gang's thoughts as we try to sway your opinion. Plus, our panel gives their best guess on who will stand victorious in Sin City. Then we'll give you a live look behind the stage as the crew gets last-minute guidance from the big guns. There's more NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco, straight ahead on Speed.
As we get closer and closer to green flag time here in Las Vegas, welcome back once again, everyone, to NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco. There is a lot going on in and around this racetrack today, especially in the garage, and that's where we get our news from the garage, beginning with Wendy Venturini. Wendy?
Thanks, Johnny. Danica Patrick's car just rolled behind us. We're at the last stop of the tech inspection before they hit pit road, and here's the interesting part. This time 1 week ago in Phoenix, we had over 25 cars that still had to go through this tech inspection line. Remember, we were getting close to the green flag and cars were being pushed out on the grid. Well, here in Las Vegas, things are running a lot smoother today, this race day. There's only 9 cars remaining to go through the tech inspection line. They have been busy, as you can tell, through our cameras that have been watching it all, but no doubt the garage opened up 30 minutes earlier, and things are moving a lot smoother, so things are paying off. NASCAR is going to have all those cars out there for the start of this race. Matt?
Yeah, thanks, Wendy. And I'm out here on pit road where earlier the 39 just had a little issue going through tech. But, folks, every car that goes through tech really has to go and look through and fine-tooth comb. And NASCAR sometimes make teams fix things. So they made the 39 fix the little part of their front grille. No big issue. We kept an eye on it, but nothing big. So NASCAR is doing a good job of keeping an eye on things. Teams are doing a good job of getting these cars fixed. Remember, Gen 6 car, it's evolving. So teams are still learning what NASCAR wants. NASCAR is working through their tech segment. So I think all things are working well, as Wendy said. So, Johnny, it's good signs here in the tech line for those guys in NASCAR and competitors.
Yep, the term we keep using, Matt, is work in progress, and the work is going in the right way. Now, you got to have some strong starts this season when you look at some of the drivers, especially 2 from the Hendrick Motorsports stable. Jimmy Johnson won the Daytona 500. He was second at PRR. And when you're NASCAR's most popular driver, means just about everything you do will be magnified. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s struggles over the last 4 seasons were certainly the most talked about in NASCAR, and so too is his hot start to this 2013 campaign.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. appeals to the outside, can't make it happen. Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes in second.
Proud of that second, bud. Way to start the year. Boys, proud of y'all.
It performed well. The team did a great job. Steve did a good job calling a good race.
It's not going to happen. It doesn't appear for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Kyle gets the victory. Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes in second.
Last couple weeks, man, y'all have been on it.
I'm just having a good time. You know, I want to win a race, so.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. snaps that dry spell, winning today at Michigan.
I know you guys have been waiting on that one. I know I have. All clear, get it hard, all the way out.
The championship point leader now with a problem.
Broke the training. No third, no fourth. Yeah, that's not going to work.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is having a pretty good day.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. spins his car around.
Just spun out, getting into the carousel. And that was it for us.
Everybody piled up, but Matt Kenseth. Multi-car pile up down at turn number 4.
You okay, buddy? I don't know how many of them hits like that I could take.
I knew as soon as it happened that I had re-injured myself. I believe, you know, when he tells me I don't need to be in the car and I need to take a couple weeks off, that's what I need to do.
Here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. He'll dive to the bottom, but he will not get it done.
Great finish for us, and we're going to be strong this year.
Carl Edwards has won here at the Phoenix International Raceway, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 5th.
Buddy, I'm so proud of you, man. That's the top 5 of Phoenix.
Well, you know, these fast starts are nothing new for Dale Earnhardt Jr., but Larry McReynolds, the real question is, what will they mean in terms of a good finish, which we saw last season?
Yeah, one thing that I've always observed, or at least for the last few seasons about Dale Earnhardt Jr., a tough time putting the beginning, the middle, and the end of a race together, and a tough time putting the beginning, the middle, and the end of the season together. Seems like he always starts off strong, but I like what I saw last year because we shouldn't forget, but he finished 7th at Atlanta, race number 25 of last year, 1 race away from the chase. He was 2nd in the points, and that's the same week that he had that vicious crash at in a Goodyear tire test at Kansas. So I like what I saw last year. The other thing I like what I'm seeing right now, he's racing more. He ran the Nationwide Series race at Daytona. He ran the Nationwide Series here yesterday. So he's not hibernating in that motor coach. He said, I want to race. I think I can learn more by running more races. I like everything I see right now with Dale Earnhardt Jr. above and beyond the 2 top 5s to start this season.
I'm excited. I mean, you know, if Dale Earnhardt Jr. can win, I mean, we push him. Sometimes I get exhausted rooting him on, just like all of you. I mean, I see all the fans. He's my man. I want him to win. I want him to win. I think Eddie Gossage out of Texas has a billboard every year. Dale Jr. is going to be here. Eddie, give him $100 grand every time to sponsor his race car. My message to all the racetracks out there, pay Junior $200,000, sponsor his Nationwide car. The more we see Junior, the more repetition he gets, the better driver he's going to be on these racetracks.
Yeah, I agree with Larry. I love Dale Jr., and I think he's a good race car driver, a good, solid race car driver. I would like to see him put an entire year together. Will this be the year that he can put a whole year? I thought he had one going last year until the head injury, so let's just give him some time and watch him this year.
Now, as you can imagine, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is a big subject on social media, and we certainly like to have you get involved with us here on Speed. It's very easy to do. We like to be the social media friendly show, and it's easy to do. All you got to do is go to speed.com and connect with us. Facebook.com is /NASCAR on Speed. Twitter is @NASCAR on Speed. And here is what Junior Nation has to say by way of Twitter this morning. One Junior fan says he seems different, happy, relaxed, and focused. A positive combination, and that is working on the track. And of course, those hashtags are very popular, Dale Jr. and #NASCAR as well. Another fan says, Dale Jr., this is his year, and this year the fans we have waited for drive for a championship, and he certainly is started off in the right direction. And coming up on NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco, was there anything wrong with the last restart last weekend? That depends on who you ask, and just what effect does luck have on Sprint Cup drivers? You may be surprised to find out. We'll be back with much more Race Day in a moment.
Small, wicked. And now, topless. The Fiat 500 Abarth Cabrio.
Faster than a redneck as his drivers are picked off one by one. Host John Reap unleashes his secret weapon, strapped in for a Southern Fried showdown on an all-new Are You Faster Than a Redneck Monday night at 9 Eastern, only on Speed. Just the sheer number of people that come to Las Vegas and the number of fans that come to this racetrack make it one of the most exciting stops all season long. You might not be faster than a redneck, but you certainly are not faster than the gambler here at Vegas. For years, Joe Gibbs Racing built their own engines on the East Coast and had a great deal of success. There were growing pains when they switched to Toyota Racing Development engines, which are built on the West Coast. Lately, they've had a little bit more than their share of broken components, and they are working tirelessly to find out why. This season has not started off well for the Joe Gibbs Racing organization.
They are headed to the Sprint Cup Series garage. Something serious for Kyle Busch's M&M's Toyota.
A little puff of smoke over there at turn number 3, and all of a sudden he just quit.
Tough break for Kyle Busch. I think it was a valve spring which dropped the valve, hit the piston, catastrophic.
Problem for Denny Hamlin at the top of the S's. Engine going south on the FedEx Toyota. There is flame underneath the hood of the machine as he limps his way around the racetrack.
Here comes Kyle off the base. He will come to pit road. He's not going to be able to make the final 10 laps.
Way to go, TRD. Out of another one.
Since his car is smoking now, he's got some kind of issue with something in the front end. That car's going to have to come to pit road.
Kansas teammate is on pit road. Kaboom goes Busch. They know his race is pretty much done.
Yesterday, Denny Hamlin with the engine change. Now the woes continue for TRD, the 18 car of Kyle Busch. An engine change. And arriving here in Las Vegas, we decided to check in with Toyota Racing Development, who we know they're based in Costa Mesa, California. David, you guys pretty much spent your week from Phoenix to Las Vegas. pretty busy at Costa Mesa TRD. Tell us about what you guys were able to find out about all the engine issues we've been seeing.
Well, the good news, Wendy, is we had a good week. We finished out Phoenix strong. Denny certainly overcame his handicap and drove to the front, had 3 Toyotas finish in the top 7. But we decided after Phoenix that wasn't good enough. We actually pulled 2 of our race engines out of the cars, drove them overnight to California, put them on our engine dynos, and ran another full race distance on both engines without any problems. So we're confident that we have these issues sorted. Came out here to Las Vegas and pounded away on Thursday, top of the timing charts most of the day, and then backed that up yesterday through practice.
Now, I know testing them on the dyno gives TRD a little bit of confidence, but knowing that they were related to the valve springs in Daytona and going into Phoenix with the 11, is there something that TRD can do to solve that specific issue? Is it a vendor issue?
Definitely. You know, it really doesn't matter whether it's a vendor issue or a part issue. It's TRD. It's our responsibility to get it sorted. So we did learn a lot. The challenge is Daytona is completely unrelated to Phoenix. We go with a purpose-built plate spec engine for Daytona, and then coming to Phoenix, we're back into the open spec stuff. So while we had some commonality in the failures, they were unrelated. We do think we know what happened, and we've got some better parts, better pieces in the motors now that ran the race in Phoenix, and that we're going to go out and hopefully win this afternoon.
All right, well, good luck out there with that. We know Kyle Busch will be strong today. Denny Hamlin coming off some recent success as well. They all want to get to victory lane here in Vegas, Johnny.
And Wendy, by virtue of their finishing position last year, those guys all will be starting towards the front of the field. Let's take a look at who supplies whom with engines here. The Hendrick engines go to Hendrick, Stewart Haas, Earnhardt Ganassi Racing in Phoenix. TRD is Joe Gibbs, Waltrip, BK Racing, JTD Joerty. Roush Yates engines go to Roush Fenway Racing, of course, Penske, Germain, and RPM. And the ECR engines go to Richard Childress Racing and Furniture Row Racing. So, KP, when we look at that up and down the list, there just certainly aren't too many different companies supplying these engines. So it's easy to look at one. When they're having problems, it gets magnified.
Yeah, you know, and we were running the numbers. When TRD has an issue, it can affect 16% of the field. That's how many cars run the TRD engines. We look at Hendrick, which is 23%. We look at Roush Racing, which is something like 20%. 60% of the field are run off of those top 3 guys that you saw there. RCR won 1 race last year. All the race winners, 35 race winners, come from TRD and from Hendrick and Roush. When somebody has a problem, it has that ripple effect. This is not just a Gibbs issue. This is a TRD issue, as we heard him say. They stand behind their products, and they're working hard to get them fixed.
Yeah, you know, let me be very clear about auto racing. I don't care if you're a dirt racer, a sprint car racer, Indy car racer, whatever. Motors are the heart and soul of our sport. Just as they said, those motor builders control 60% of our Porsche. Of our racing teams out here. So if you say, who's the boss in NASCAR? Motor builders are. If you don't have horsepower, and let me just say this. I drove the 28 car one time when Ernie got hurt for this man right here. I pressed on the gas, and I handled it okay. I come back, and Larry's like, oh, you're number 1. I'm like, what? It was, at that time, it was at Robert Yates horsepower. Larry, we
really had it going through the corners good, too.
That baby handled down the straightaway. Handled down the straightaway, baby.
Larry, it was a great crew chief. He worked hard on his chassis. My point is this. Motors are everything. Everything, and he knows that.
But I think where the Toyota drivers and the teams are is the fact we don't want to know what the problem is. We don't know where it's coming from. We just want to know you're going to repair this. You're going to fix this. And I've dealt with Lee White, and I've dealt with David Wilson. There's no question those guys, they're going to rectify this. But I think what makes this as a story, it's not because of what happened the first 2 races of this year. It's because of the continuing story. I go back to 2009, right here at Las Vegas. Kyle Busch won the race. He had to start at the rear of the field after sitting on the pole because of an engine few. In fact, I think all the Toyota teams that day had to go to the rear of the field. If you look back at last year, I know we have 26 races to make the chase, but I have to say the month of June is the reason Kyle Busch, you see it right there, is the reason he didn't make the chase. I think that the test on Thursday was a good sign, and I promise today, just like the Gen 6 car, this race here will be a good sign because 400 miles here will pull the guts out of an engine.
Yes, and that can wear on a driver if the engine keeps blowing up. Race fans, later in the show, you can be part of our live race day vote. Use a mobile device or computer and go to speed.com to find us on NASCAR on Speed Facebook page as well. Our first question today is restart rules, like or dislike. Get involved with the show and let us know what you think. Well, the engine that runs the world of motorsports when it comes to news certainly is Speed Center, and that is being headed up by Adam Alexander. So let's send you back across the country to Charlotte, North Carolina, and check in with Double A.
We got NASCAR, and we also have bikes, and that's where we're starting, JR. A little Supercross from Daytona, where you guys were 2 weeks ago. Ryan Villapoto on a roll. The two-time defending champ off track. That's not good, but he would rally. Passing Ken Roczen. And when the checkered flag went in the air, he was the man getting it. RV for the third time a winner at Daytona, his 5th of the season, and he is your championship leader by 2 over Davey Millsaps. World Rally Championship in Mexico. What do you do when you're having a problem? Sebastian Ogier told his co-driver, go open that gate. He did. They lost 30 seconds. They would get it back, and they are dominating in Mexico out in front of Mikko Hirvonen by a wide margin. Yesterday, Las Vegas Nationwide Series. Our man, Sam Hornish Jr., flexing his muscles. He's able to outrun Kyle Busch on a late restart. 114 laps is how many he was out front. Second career win for Sam. He's with us on Speed Center tonight at 7. James Hinchcliffe will also be here. A full recap of the weekend in racing. We'll see you tonight at 7. More race day after this commercial break.
If I had a nickel.
If I had a nickel for every rain delay.
For every time my mom said I should have been an architect.
A doctor.
A lawyer.
For every itch I couldn't reach.
For every time I used fluid dynamics to reduce my drag coefficient.
April 4th on Speed, Barrett Jackson, the world's greatest car collector auction, sizzles in the Sunshine State. See the most amazing cars all in one place and all up for grabs. That's Barrett Jackson, Palm Beach. Exclusive live coverage begins April 4th at 2 Eastern, only on Speed. And there is all kind of stuff going on in and around the racetrack here at Vegas. Welcome back once again, everyone, to NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco. In just a matter of 34 minutes, Robin Leach will give us the driver intros, the national anthem by Marie Osmond in 1 hour from now, and the flyby, a very historic one from nearby Nellis Air Force Base, comes our way from the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds in just a little over an hour as well. And the weather, we are glad to say, could not simply be better. And for more on that, let's go to Fox 5's Ted Pretty.
Yeah, certainly a much better cut of the weather deck of cards today in Las Vegas. Boy, Friday, a 1/4 inch of rain, strong gusts. It was a mess there as we had a lot of the rain in the Las Vegas Valley. We had that rain for the first time in 30 days, so kind of a rarity in Las Vegas as of late with all of that rain. Let's take a look at today's forecast. Today, 60 degrees at the start of the race right around noontime, 25% humidity. So as opposed to yesterday when we had the mostly cloudy skies, full on sun today, it's going to be a much, much warmer track today. Let's take a look at the race in. 65 degrees and a humidity continuing to be dropping out of the Las Vegas Valley. Just a slight breeze out of the northeast really should have little effect on the drivers. Let's talk to some of the fans. We have Kyle and Kelly. Now, you are a fan of Jeff Gordon, the 48 car, who's starting third. And now, why are you a fan of Jimmy Johnson? I'm sorry, Jimmy Johnson.
Because my dad really is a fan of Jimmy Johnson, and I just like to take off from him.
Okay, now your brother here is the Gordon fan. Now, why are you such a Gordon fan?
Because I think he's the best driver.
Your best driver. Any fights in the household at all?
No.
No? It's a peaceful household? Yeah. All right, let's keep it that way. Okay, let's talk to Rob back here, who's from Boise, Idaho. Now, you're a Tony Stewart fan. Tony Stewart starting 9th in the race. Do you think he benefited by the washout of the qualifying, or how do you think he's going to fare?
No, Tony loves his track, but he'll do just fine. He would have done better in qualifying, but he'll do just fine today.
That's confidence. Who's going to win the race? Tony Stewart! Might be a little bit of a disagreement there. All right, big finish. 3, 2, 1.
Nicely done. Thank you, guys. We appreciate everybody coming out to be with us here at the Speed Stage. When it comes to super teams in NASCAR Sprint Cup racing, Roush Fenway leads the way in wins here at Vegas. They have 7 wins with 3 different drivers, and judging by what we've seen so far this weekend, they could well add another.
Let's go racing Vegas style, boys! The winner of the inaugural Las Vegas 400, Mark Martin. Jeff Burton crossing the finish line and winning. There is the man of the day at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Matt Kenseth is guaranteed to leave Las Vegas a winner. Carl Edwards will go to victory lane. He cashes in big in Las Vegas. Jack Roush practically owns this place. Team owner Jack Roush, he has utterly dominated this racetrack.
Well, one Roush Fenway driver who certainly wants to add his name to the list of winners for Roush Fenway cars is Greg Biffle, and the Biff certainly could get it done today.
Well, as Greg Biffle is getting ready for the green flag today here in Las Vegas, Johnny, we know that the teams have been busy because we had a test session Thursday here when we arrived in Vegas. And we know, Greg, that you were the fastest that day. You were second fastest in practice, the first practice yesterday. So what does that mean for today's race? Have you made a lot of adjustments? We just saw the weather is a little bit different.
Yeah, it is a little different. So it's warmed up, and, you know, the American Red Cross car slowed down a little bit in that second session. We didn't have a very fast time, but we had a good lap average, which is what's going to win the race today. So, you know, fast pit stops, those kinds of things, that's what's going to be important.
All right, I see you're wearing your Red Cross pin for Red Cross Month here in March. A lot of drivers taking time from Phoenix to Vegas to do a lot of cool things. You, my friend, visited a children's hospital. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we visited Sunrise Children's Hospital here and did something with the Red Cross, and it was so exciting to see how excited the kids are. You know, they're playing with the Red Cross car, and we gave them T-shirts and all that. And, you know, if people go to redcrossblood.org, make an appointment to donate blood. Every 2 seconds, someone in America needs blood. It's easy to do, and you can help save a life, and it's a lot of fun to do it.
All right, well, good luck out there and getting that victory here in Las Vegas. I know one guy who I'm throwing back to is always rooting for the Biff. Johnny.
Absolutely, and also, Wendy, it's important to note that the American Red Cross is coming up against a very important season. When people go on vacation, their blood levels go down, but their needs stay exactly the same. It is time now for our fan vote, and here it is. Restart rules. Do you like them or dislike them? To get involved in our second live vote, tell us by using your smartphone or PC and go to thespeed.com or the NASCAR on Speed Facebook page right now to vote live. We will discuss restarts when we come back to the show. And already we have a pretty tight little vote going on there. We got to take a quick break here, but coming up on NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco, we will continue to take you around this racetrack here at Las Vegas, show you the latest news from the garage, and take you places where you haven't been before on race day. Stay with us, everybody. It is Vegas. It's exciting, and we'll hear just what the drivers have to say about it.
Why me? I won Daytona last year.
I won nationwide.
I'm loyal. I like animals.
Standing up here at Phoenix, Keselowski pushing Carl Edwards to the point.
That 99 should be black flag for 2 illegal restarts.
I thought he sped up. He said I slowed down. He was actually in front of me right before he stepped on the throttle. I thought, man, that's a pretty good trick. I mean, he's kind of throwing me off a little bit here. And I got to the gas, beat Jimmy, and I thought, man, we've got this thing. I'm just real grateful that Brad kept pushing me, got me out there in front, and made sure Ford won.
Welcome back to Race Day, everybody, as we see the cars poised for this race here at Las Vegas. There are clear-cut rules, well, somewhat, regarding restarts in Sprint Cup racing. There always is room for interpretations, and sometimes a restart from one driver can leave another driver a little hot under the collar. Let's take a look at what you think about NASCAR restart rules. Do you like or dislike? Guys, it's pretty much a toss-up, but at drivers, what do you guys do when it comes to restart? Do you have in your mind a clear-cut rule as to what you're going to do, or do you do it differently every time?
No, let me just say this. The leader earns the right to do what he wants to do. And as a driver, I've learned from the best, you never do the same thing over and over. You're getting ready to come take the green flag. You might push the clutch in. Wong, wong. Let him hear that. He gets all jukey. He jumps. Then he knows the rule is the second place driver cannot beat you to the line, and then Carl Edwards takes off. Look at this last year, Larry. Explain this, the restart lines.
Yeah, it's one reason Tony Stewart won this race a year ago was he had to make 3 critical restarts. Look to the inside. See the 2 white lines? That's the restart box. That's where the leader restarts the race. I like it now. You'll see it again right there.
There he takes off.
Because for so many years, NASCAR just said in the vicinity of the restart area. And I thought that was so vague. It was 2 marks on the wall. Now we have a restart box. But, Kyle, I think drivers know today with where the competition is, the restart can be the most important part of a race run.
Yeah, we talk about pit road and how much time can be gained, and races can be won and lost on pit road. They can also be won and lost in that restart box. Used to, we could start coming out of turn 3, or excuse me, in between turns 3 and 4. It was just an area, a very vague area. NASCAR took it and said, here's the box. And we heard Carl Edwards say, Jimmy was messing with me. It's a game. Once you get inside the box, it's a game. And face it, Jimmy Johnson fans, Carl Edwards won the game last week. He took home the trophy and the foot-long subway. Sorry.
My favorite story is NASCAR told Rusty back in the day at Martinsville, start at the pit gate. Well, he started at one of the shrubberies and got fined $5 grand.
Well, we have closed the vote right now, 56% like. And I think they went down from 185,000 votes, but I think they went down 20% when Kyle said he liked him.
Yes,
so
thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Next week, NASCAR steps into the bull ring. Jumpstart your weekend with a full day of Fast Friday coverage from the world's fastest half mile. Don't miss a minute of the action. NASCAR Fast Friday coverage from Bristol begins at 10:30 Eastern, only on Speed. Got to take a quick break here on NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco. But as we continue, we'll take you all around this Las Vegas Motor Speedway and show you exactly what's going on in the garage.
When I hear the ocean calling and I feel my spirit falling.
Yes, it's the immigrants. For me.
When you buy a set of 4 select Pirelli.
Safe.
Motor Speedway. The countdown continues to driver intros. We are just 20 minutes away from hearing Roman Leach. As we take a look at the live look at the inspection process, the national anthem by Marie Osmond comes your way in a little bit more than 50 minutes, and then a very historic flyby by the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds from nearby Nellis Air Force Base is just around the corner. Now, anyone who competes at the highest level of any given sport has a different take on luck. Many champions will tell you that to make your own, you have to make your own luck. But with all the moving parts and people involved in NASCAR racing, it is hard to say that luck doesn't come into it. So that begs the question, just what dictates racing luck?
Vegas is a town full of winners and losers. And NASCAR's high rollers have a knack for letting it all ride. But when they're not hitting the pay window, they're searching for Lady Luck.
You can look at unlucky as being unfortunate, but I think it's an attitude. The people that are unlucky are probably less patient than the people who are lucky.
The general idea is that when somebody experiences bad luck or a bad situation, they're stuck in it so deeply that they get a sense that they don't have any control over what's going to happen to them.
Oh, trouble! Junior's in the wall. Junior's drought is the longest since the Dust Bowl days. Trouble turn 2. Truex is in it.
I think the luck is, you know, when it happens to you, you always think you're the one, you know, that has all the bad luck. I've said it a million times, you know, that I wish I had better luck. But there's some things you just can't change. You just got to go out and do your job the best you can.
The other side of the same coin is when you hit a patch of good luck, you almost feel empowered.
Jeff Gordon wins the Brickyard 400.
Luck keeps going our way.
He wins the Pepsi 400. 4 wins in a row. Tony Stewart opens the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup with his first win of the season.
Take a deep breath, I got this.
I don't think anybody can stop him right now. A 3-time NASCAR Sprint Cup champion came in and won 1/2 of the races in the chase.
Good luck is another attitude of mine. I think it's positive energy. People come in here and they think they're going to win. And I think there is some kind of mystique phenomena.
For Kurt Busch, good fortune led to hitting the sport's biggest jackpot.
Oh, he loses the wheel. He just missed clobbering into that wall. What was it? A foot? No more than a foot.
I was saying inches on that one.
I'll bet the under there.
That's going to be a caution. That's actually good luck for him.
If that wheel had not gone out on the racetrack from Kurt's car, then the caution probably wouldn't have come out. He's on a lap down making the tire change. Might be what won him a championship.
In NASCAR, success is measured in titles, and there's no question that luck plays a role in winning championships.
Jimmy's a good friend of mine, but there's no way of getting around how lucky they are. They have a golden horseshoe stuck up their ass.
Oh, right to Friday, go up. I'll go over. I can't believe I saved it. Man, if we win the championship, just go ahead and save that part right there.
There's this great quote from a mindfulness expert, and she says, "The mark of a champion is the ability to win when things are not quite right, when you're not playing well and your emotions are not the right ones." And so I think that that really fits with any racer or athlete who experiences bad luck.
It's just rolling the dice, man. That's all it was. You know how the dice is. Sometimes it works for you, sometimes it don't.
Now, hopefully, we will have a good luck effect on drivers as we check into our Sunoco performance picks. And Wendy needs to change her luck. And that's why she starts us off as we take a look at the standings. Matt Clark is on top. Wendy, I'm sorry to say, my friend, you're in the basement, but your luck can certainly change here in Vegas.
Well, Johnny, here's my theory. Last week, it was Carl Edwards in the Subway car that won the Subway race. So you see where I'm going with this? Yep. Jimmy Johnson in the Cobalt car winning the Cobalt race here in Las Vegas. Plus, he's got pretty good odds, and I feel like I can gain some points on Mr. Kenny Wallace.
Well, Wendy, I have a feeling. I'm going to go by a feeling. Since Martin Truex was the fastest in practice yesterday, he loves to run high. He loves the multi-group tracks. So from Marietta, New Jersey, Martin Truex in his Toyota Camry is going to win this race because I say so.
And that's a good reason, Kenny Wallace, but I have to disagree with you because this driver hails from Vancouver, Washington. He is simply known as the Biff. He is fast in Thursday testing. He is going to be fast today. He is racing for a great cause. Therefore, the Biff joins us in victory lane.
Here's a nugget for you. When qualifying is rained out, my man leads all active drivers with 7 wins. Tony Stewart gets back-to-back wins at Vegas, and Rhett, to do it, he's probably going to have to pass him on the high side.
Yeah, Larry, way to get into it, brother. Hey, guys, you know, when people are playing craps, a lot of them yell yo, but this week after Denny Hamlin's trouble, I think he's going to yell YOLO. You only live once, because guess what? He's going to drive angry today because he's got to pay that fine. I'm going for the number 11 for the win, Kyle.
All right, that's a good pick, Rudd. I should have picked him, but sticking with my Danica theme picks, I picked Danica at Daytona, Ricky Stenhouse last week, so sticking with that, I'll pick the guy that used to drive the car that Ricky Stenhouse, that dates Danica, drives now, which is Matt Kenseth. And it's his birthday, 20-car TRD back in victory lane.
Not a chance, Kyle. I've got the hometown kid, a guy who calls himself a desert rat. He's got 1 win here. He knows how to win. They roll off lucky 13. Kyle Busch will keep me atop the points. Johnny boy?
Matt, thanks a lot. He finds himself on top once again, but let's see who has whom. Wendy has the 48. Kenny is going with the 56 of Martin Truex. I'm going to stick with the Biff. Larry Mack has Tony Stewart. Rutledge Wood has Denny. Kyle has Matt Kenseth. And Matt Clark is going to stick with the hometown favorite, and that is Kyle Busch. Let's take a look at what the fans think. And overwhelmingly, they say Tony Stewart. They agree with Larry Mack.
On the high side.
And he will pass a pair on the high side.
He's a bottom feeder, you know.
Yes, after the checkered flag falls today in Vegas, turn to speed for the ultimate post-race coverage. Join the Sin City celebration with the winner in NASCAR Victory Lane live immediately following today's race right here on Speed. Got to take a quick break, but when we come back, we will get you right down in the middle of everything here at Las Vegas in the Neon Garage and talk to your favorite drivers in the lightning round.
This is a real pivot point for NASCAR. We have to get back to the cars.
Yeah, speed stick. Don't sweat it. Handle it.
Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco. There you see the fans gathering on the front stretch near the start-finish line to greet their favorite drivers as pre-race inspection continues. That is a process that is wide open to the public these days at the racetrack, so you truly can see all the inner workings of the race day process here. After the checkered flag falls today in Vegas, turn to speed for the ultimate post-race coverage. Join the Sin City celebration with the winner in NASCAR Victory Lane, live immediately following today's race right here on Speed. Well, here in Las Vegas, it is all about the show, and perhaps the best show you will see today in Vegas is the Fox Race broadcast of the Cobalt Tools 400. For more on what's coming up on their pre-race show, let's check into the Hollywood Hotel and Chris Myers.
Thanks, John, and good to see you. What do you expect in today's race? Only the third race of the season, and, of course, rain taking care of the qualifying, so a little more intrigue.
I think the race today will be the best one so far this year. This car was built for a mile-and-a-half racetrack. High downforce, high speed. The only thing I'm worried about is the cars don't ride the bumps real well. That could be an issue, but I really think we're going to see the best race of the year today.
What about the issue, the bumpy track?
I think the drivers enjoy the bumpy racetrack. It's something that's a challenge for them. It gives them a chance to try to figure out how to get these cars set up. But, Chris, the speed is amazing. Well over 200 miles an hour down in the corner, and some of our fastest cars are our biggest stars. Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards, and Kyle Busch, all in the top 5 in final practice. It's going to be a fun day.
And Carl Edwards coming off a win, and he's won here twice. You got to sit down with him. You'll see the full interview coming up on the pre-race show. What struck you about spending some time with Carl?
How his confidence, how he had lost a little bit of his confidence, but that win last week, he's got it back now. He's the Carl again.
And Ricky Stenhouse Jr., you guys had fun in Vegas?
Yeah, and he's feeding off Carl's energy. That whole Roush Fenway organization is confident of where they are right now.
All right, we'll also talk live with Tony Stewart and hear from Jimmy Johnson. It's the NASCAR on Fox pre-race show from the Hollywood Hotel and Casino coming up at 11:30 Pacific. We're open.
Thanks, Chris. We certainly will be watching. When we come back here to NASCAR Race Day, we'll take you down in the middle of all the action with our lightning round. Don't go away, anybody.
Out here?
Oh, no! Anything can happen. Usually does.
If I had a nickel. If I had a nickel. If I had a nickel for every time I wish my
Toyota, let's go places. And by Cabela's. It's in your nature.
Here's what driver Trevor Bayne had to say about racing today at Vegas. This will be our first 1.5-mile track with the new Generation 6 car. Nobody really knows what to expect at this point. Can't wait to get going. And Trevor, we agree with you. We can't wait to get going on our lightning round. You know, yesterday in the Neon Garage, we saw a Wendy Venturini impersonator. But fortunately now we have the real thing.
Well, Johnny, I'm not trying to impersonate a driver sitting here where they're getting ready for driver intros. Juan Pablo Montoya taking a little relaxed moment despite the very loud music behind us. This is quite the hype here in Las Vegas.
I know, always the show's amazing here. You know, it's a cool place to come. You know, this week for us is pretty cool. We have the Axe Apollo car here, and I got an Astron hanging around with me all day, so that's been pretty kind of crazy, but it's been fun.
I do have to ask you, Danica ran up just moments ago, jumped on your back. Were you guys discussing about having to both be in the back of the field for the start of the race? Because you do have to go to the back.
I know, we have to go to the back. We had a problem with the motor. Nothing to do with the motor, but we had to change the motor. So it was kind of a crazy deal. But
he explained it.
You explained it? Good. They explained it to me. I'm like, really? We haven't run and we still got to go to the back. But it's okay. You know, we have a good car. We've been competitive here. We had a really good car in Phoenix. So I'm encouraged. I think we finally turned around that corner that we always talked about, and we know we still got a long way to go, but we're working hard.
All right, we're going to head back to Johnny, but I'm going to enjoy this music for just a minute.
Sounds like it's rocking down there, Wendy. Let's take a look at some drivers who are recently rocking at Las Vegas. Some drivers to watch for. Greg Biffle has 4 top 10 finishes in his last 5 starts at this racetrack. Clint Boyer, 3 top 10s in last 4. Dale Jr. is also equally as hot at this Vegas Motor Speedway, and also Carl Edwards is another one to watch for. Let's go back to Rutt.
I've caught up with a couple drivers, just giving a gentle shoulder stroke here. Danica Patrick, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I'm not sure who I should start with for the crazy road trip. I just asked the person that drove, how was the trip?
That was me. That was me. I often
offered to drive because we drove from Phoenix to Vegas, and I said, I'll drive. You know, do you want me to drive or do you want to drive? And he said, you can drive.
You can drive. I was playing DJ.
How'd it go?
And I was eating candy the whole way. I was laid back, had my feet on the dash. You know, I figured I would take advantage of it while I could, right?
And you guys went by the Hoover Dam. Did you take the dam tour?
The problem is he felt safe with me, I think, right?
And then you said, oh, if it's safe driving, let me take you to the dirt track and you'll get hit in the head with a rock.
Yeah.
That was not planned. It was a little rocky out here in the desert.
I decided dirt races in the desert are just a bad idea.
It's too much.
Yeah, but we didn't take the dam tour.
You did not take the dam tour.
No.
They passed on it. Wendy, good luck, you guys. You don't do it.
Into the water.
He decided that he would like to have a job where he could rappel down the dam to fix things. That would be really fun, and I just... I feel like there are a lot of people that died making the dam and things like that.
I think you guys are better here.
Okay.
Let's stick with this. Let's stick with this. Good luck, you guys. Wendy?
There's no truth to the rumor that Austin Dillon and I took a rendezvous. I mean, come on. How can we follow that up? Stenica, there we go. So, Austin, tell us about your sweet ride for today in the Cup race. We're used to seeing you in Nationwide.
Yeah, this is awesome. You know, getting to drive the Phoenix Racing number 51, it's going to be great. You know, Tag Heuer Eyewear stepped up and sponsored this race, and anytime you can get in a Cup car, I feel free experience is great. So I think we're going to go out there and have a good day. Our test session went really good on Thursday. Hopefully we can kind of go off of that. I think we went back to the package we started with, because yesterday we kind of got mixed up in between practices. But, you know, I think Chevy's been fast, and hopefully we can make ours fast too.
Well, wearing those shades, you look like pretty much every person walking out of their hotel room this morning. Johnny.
Wendy, thanks a lot. Now, certainly we've talked about Dale Jr., Denny's fine, and Danica's rock. But the real story today, guys, is this 1.5-mile oval test for this Generation 6 race car.
And what you better pay close attention to is pit road. It seems like mistakes on pit road by drivers and the crews a lot of times dictates the outcome of this race, but I truly believe we'll see our third winner of 2013 today.
You know, I don't know how much more Ganassi can take this. You know, Juan Pablo going to the back with his teammate. It's going to be interesting to watch them to see if they can stop this drama that's been going on with their team. So, rooting old Juan Pablo on.
Yeah, and Larry's talking about different winners. I think the Ford is going to rise to the top here. Even though I picked a Toyota, I think the Ford car was not fast at Daytona, but I think the Ford body style is a great race car.
And they were fast in that test session. They were also fast in the test session at Charlotte. So it looks like the 1.5 mile may be good for them, but anything can and will happen when you are in the city of Las Vegas. And that's where we're going to race 400 miles today for NASCAR's Top Series as they get ready for race number 3 of the year. We'll see you after the race.
This race is different. Part Supercross, part motocross, all adrenaline. It's not run in a stadium. It's built into the infield of a place famous for speed. This is the longest race of the season. The fans experience the most intimate view in motorsports. Of course this race is different. It's Daytona.
It all began right here, March 9th, 1974 at the World Center of Racing, the first ever points-paying Supercross. And now, 40 years to the day, we're going to do it once again here in Daytona with the Daytona Supercross by Honda.